Welcome to the podcast that passes poor performance on pop culture. I'm one of your hosts, Darren Duncan, alongside with my best friend, Audie Marsh. We're just a couple of cool cats casually causing some chaos with conversation. We're here to entertain you, not hurt your feelings, so don't blame us. Oh, isn't it great to be late? Oh, isn't it great to be late? We're a half hour late. What's up, dude?
It's all right, man. It's not a show if you're not late.
Exactly.
Isn't that
Dude,
the rule?
I'm the singer of a fucking metal band. I am never late, nor am I early. I arrive exactly when I mean to.
You're so full of shit.
I know, I stole that from Gandalf from Lord of the Rings.
It sounds like it. Anyway.
Yeah.
We got a special guest tonight. Good buddy of mine.
Yeah, we just put it out there that Brandon Chiappetti unfortunately had to cancel due to a family emergency. He will be on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Jayare totally stepped up for us and fucking hopped in last minute. Pretty sure we cock blocked him. And I don't even think he's dressed appropriately. So Everybody thank Jayare for hopping on. We have Jayare Gallegos, the owner of Zobie Productions, right?
Yeah, I think he owns it. Don't you own it, JR?
Or does your wife? Your wife gets everything, right?
Yeah,
she should.
I'm the puppet.
She should.
Did you ever see the meme of there's a hearse and it's towing a fucking U-Haul and it's like this is for this, like I'm taking all my autographs with me to the grave, or like you motherfuckers ain't getting shit, or something like that. Something to that effect.
I've never seen it, but it sounds
fucking hilarious. But speaking of autographs and shit, I know this is what you do for a living. That's how you feed your kids and pay your bills and everything, by these private signings with celebrities. Why the fuck don't you have any autographs behind you? Are you a collector, or are you just one of those goddamn flippers?
I'm in my office, but I'm not allowed to have the autographs all over my house. My wife, Jen, when we were in McKinney, Texas, and I was starting out, I was still in my house. The whole house was overloaded. I think Audie remembers that too. And so we got our first warehouse. Everything got moved, even my personal items. So I actually don't have memorabilia at my house at all. You would never know what I do for a living if you came into my house.
I didn't know if it was a conscious decision or just coincidental or what, but you got to have autographs that you like and collect, right? I mean, are they in a fucking, like a lockbox, or like you keep them at your fucking store, or what?
Yeah, I basically keep them in my office. And then like the new hire was asking me that. He's like, basically the whole both warehouses are your like band cave. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Because there's memorabilia everywhere.
That's fun. So that's fucking sweet, dude. So like, is any of that shit like for sale for the right price, or is that your collection?
I think most of the stuff is so quirky and there's a story behind it. So most people would be like, what is that? I've gotten most of my offers I've gotten is on the Kobe Bryant stuff I have, because it is on the walls, but they're not for sale.
Yeah,
right. Dude, this might be a dickhead move, but I'm going to go ahead and say it because I've done much worse things in my life. But a long time ago, when I lived in the hood, crackheads would come to my house and they would try to sell me stolen tools and TVs and shit like that for super cheap. Well, this one dude, it was probably 11, 12 years ago. He had a fucking stack, dude, like 40 Kobe Bryant rookie cards. And he's trying to sell them to me. And I'm like, dude, I get it. They're Kobe Bryant, they're rookie, but no one gives a fuck about cards these days. They're not worth anything. I swear to God. And he's trying to sell me the whole stack for $20. And I'm like, I'm just not interested, man. I'm sorry. And he's like, $5. And I'm like, dude, they're not worth anything. So he just gave them to me. And I'm like, all right, cool. I fucking threw them in my garage. They sat there for 12 years. The day he died, I'm like, oh, fuck. I got like 40 of these fucking things. I tore my garage apart for like 3 hours, found them, and I chopped them all out at like $800 a piece that day, dude. Not all of them, but like I got like 12 left. And motherfuckers were buying them for $800 fucking dollars, like within the first few hours of him dying. And I don't know if that's a dick move or not, but dude, after that, I didn't work for like a year. I just fucking kept calling into work and shit because it was like right around the time COVID hit. So like if you didn't have anybody to watch your kids, you could just call in and not get a point. I called in every day for like a fucking year. I'm like, fuck it, dude. So I don't know. Is that a dick move or is that just? I mean, in the hood we call it a come up. You know what I mean?
I'm not even gonna say anything.
Oh my god, dude, that's the biggest dick move ever.
What?
Yeah, not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything.
I don't like basketball. So I'm like, fuck it, you know?
It's
I don't
Kobe.
know. Yeah, but I don't know. The only thing I know about him was rape allegations. I didn't even know he played basketball.
Yeah, I don't.
See, there I go lying again, but the rest of the story is 100% true.
Now, Kobe was my favorite player. So my daughter's named Kobe. It was always like a thing. I told myself that if I had a son, I would name him Kobe, and I ended up having a girl, so we just switched the spelling around. So
yeah, fuck it. That's cool. I didn't know you were that big of a fan. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you're super pissed, huh?
I'm just listening to you, and I don't know if you're going to like deviate and go somewhere crazy, or you're actually telling the truth. So I'm just waiting, and I keep looking at Audie's face.
No, he's 100% true because he's like, bro, sent me screenshots. He's like, look at this. And I was like, dude, that's fucking.
Y'all are just mad you didn't have 40 rookie cards
cool.
you got for free from a crackhead 12 years ago.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, it could have been
up.
Yeah, that's what we call it, man. That's a come up, baby.
Jeez, man.
That's awesome.
I mean, I don't know, dude. Fuck
Hey,
it.
whatever.
Hey, that's awesome. Yeah, no, honestly, that's awesome.
I'm just not a sports guy, so I just.
His cards go for a lot of money. Memorabilia wise goes for a lot. We had a customer who just walked in today who was asking about Kobe Bryant, and we had that lengthful conversation about just how his memorabilia is crazy high. Even his shoes, just like sneakerheads, like will try to get like the Grinch shoes, which is one of the more iconic shoes he wore, and aftermarket is like $2,000 just for his shoes. They're not signed; it's just to wear them. So.
Yeah, the Kobe Bryant rookie cards aren't worth shit now. Like I swear to God, I got them listed online for like $50 and no one's touching them now. But what is it? August. But the day he died, like within the first few hours, they went nuts. But I did notice a spike. What is it? August 24th or 23rd? Like he had two numbers, right? 8 and what?
24.
Okay, so August 24th is like Kobe Day. I noticed on August 24th, a couple people bought some cards for like 150. And but I think it's just because people get that nostalgia and they get shit in their mind, they get fixated on something and they want it. I do it all the time. I'm a fucking addict, dude. I'm a fucking with many things, and when I get fixated on something, I can't get enough of it. So I gotta have it now. And a lot of certain things will trigger your mind and fucking get to that addiction or whatever, and you gotta fucking have it. So it's like I've done that with autographs or anything, like the day Sid Haig died, I'm like, fuck, I only got one autograph of his. I need to go find something cool. But everybody did what I did basically and was fucking charging fucking way too much money, just like when fucking Carrie Fisher died. When Carrie Fisher died, Princess Leia, the fucking pop figures weren't worth shit. But the day she died, they fucking went up, because everybody had to have one,
Audie's got a couple of like props that I think from Sid that I think are really, really cool and unique. You still got those?
Yeah, I got the little pinball bucket of chicken. It's a pretty cool story because when I went to that con there, I think it was a Kansas City, and I had 8x10s, and I had a few Sid that I actually got from Zobie here at the house, but just meeting him, obviously to meet him and talk to him, you get an autograph. And I got up to him and like it was sitting right in front of him, like it was his, like he had, had it off to the side, like for him, and no one was asking him for it. Like, hey, and I was like, hey, Sid, I was like, are you selling that? I'll pay good money for it right now. And he was kind of brittle and really sick. I could barely hear him as he's talking to me, and he's like, yeah, it's yours. And I was like, and I pulled out like $60 because I was like, this can't be $20. There's no way. And I had $60 and was gonna hand it, and he's like, just 20. Signed it, took like a photo together, and the rest is history. I didn't know that would be one of his last cons. Apparently those bucket of chickens are like Darren was saying, man, he's gone now, and you could find those bucket of chickens for like $400-500, and it's like
Mhm.
this big,
I've
you
never
know. And I'm
seen
just
one. You'll have to
Look,
show me sometime.
yeah, it's like a pinball. My good buddy Kevin that produced High on the Hog, him and Sid were really close, and he actually got the pinball machine that little piece of chicken goes in that bucket from Sid, um, and it's signed and it's in his house.
Oh, it's a legit pinball for a pinball machine?
Yeah, it's a pinball. You know, when the ball hits, the little things rattle. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I
talking?
bet
Yeah,
I
it's
bet
an
it's from the
ornament.
house. Okay.
Yeah.
I bet
Uh,
it's from the House of a Thousand Corpses pinball
it
machine. They only
it
made
it
300
is.
of them in the world, and
Yeah.
next to his booth, he had that pinball machine, and you could play it for free when I
Yeah.
saw him at Days of
Yeah.
the Dead Chicago, like
Kevin
2017.
Kevin has that in his house. That
The
pinball machine.
Oh, the very one that was next to his
Yeah.
booth and shit all the time?
Yep,
That's
and
cool as
it's
fuck.
signed too. Yeah, he showed me a picture.
He's a really cool guy, man. The first time I met him was like 2016, 2017. His line wasn't long, but it still took a while to get through because he'd just bullshit and he'd let you ask a million fucking questions. And I
Yeah.
learned a lot. I didn't ask him shit, but I learned a lot just by the time I was the fourth person in line by hearing him converse with all the other convention goers. You know, he's talking about this movie and all the things he did. And I
Yeah.
was like, damn, I don't got nothing to ask this dude anymore because I hear his conversation, you know? But he's a funny dude, and he don't take shit either, man. If you fucking try to slip in some shit on him, he'll fucking call you out on it. He's like, I know how this fucking signing shit goes, you know, because I've seen and heard of motherfuckers in the industry that they do a deal with Sid Haig for 200 pieces, and they'll fucking try to slide in an extra 50, and he's like,
Yeah.
fuck you, he stood up for himself. He was old,
Yeah.
but he didn't take no shit.
Yeah,
He was
he was
not
all about
scared to
the
throw
fan.
them. Yeah, he wasn't scared to throw them old man hands, I bet.
What about you, JR? What is your experience with Sid? I mean, everybody talks good about him. I've never heard a bad story with Sid.
yeah, no, he was always really nice to us. I met him for the first time in San Antonio, Texas. It was back probably 2015, 2014, maybe. And I went up to him, told him what I was doing at the time. This is how quickly the Comic Con world has changed. He was $10 at his table, any item, and that included a free photo. So obviously his line would be out the venue because everybody else at the time the standard was 30, and so for meeting somebody for $10 you had way more people in his line, right? Obviously they could afford that, and he was a big name for $10 too if you think about it.
Mhm.
We're no longer in that world where anybody's charging $10 at a Comic-Con, but
No.
hell, I don't think you can get into a Comic-Con for $10 for the most part. But I met him. I told him what I was trying to do. This Zobie wasn't even a thing yet, and he gave me his number and his email address, and we exchanged emails several times, and we did our first signing. So I've never had any negative experiences with him. It was always amazing.
Yeah, I sure hated hearing about that when he passed, and I know he had an IG and he had a website, and I remember seeing all that, uh, all the backlash that his wife was catching for that, and
Mhm.
there was so many like uh dirty fans that I couldn't believe some of the stuff they were commenting on that. I was like, let this man rest in peace, and let his wife, deal with what she's dealing with. But it was pretty bad.
Well,
You
people
got
shit talking him.
absolutely, dude. It was bad.
How? There's like nothing bad to say about that fucking guy that I know of.
Dude, it was bad. It actually, I think it ended up putting like a really bad sour taste in his wife, and uh there was so much more that could have been done with some of the stuff he had apparently, and there was a movie that got stopped because a documentary because of that incident right there. And I only know that because my buddy Kevin was involved in it, but uh yeah, over some disgruntled fans. Like I've never seen anybody talk so much shit about Sick Hag. When he passed, it was like game over, like all this built up aggression. I was like, this dude wouldn't like he was like when you were around him, his presence was like grandpa or Uncle Bob. You had that comfort feeling, and I couldn't believe it. Some of the fans, and I guess you call them fans of some of the shit they were saying. I wouldn't even call them fans. It was pretty bad.
I wonder if
They're
people
not.
just don't know how to take him because, like, he's a ball buster like me. Like, he will talk shit. What's up, motherfucker? You know what I mean? That's how he talks. And I wonder if people just thought he was being a dick.
What? Because he
You know?
died?
No, because the way he talks to you, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like my buddy Matt Huff, he was getting a picture with him, and I went to grab my buddy's phone. I'm like, I'll take the phone and take a picture of you and Sid. And then like this girl was like, no, that's what I'm here for. And Captain Spaulding told that girl, he's like, you tell that guy to shut the fuck up. And he's talking about me, but he was fucking around, you know. Like I
Yeah.
have that kind of sense of humor. That's how I talk to people. And I wonder if him busting balls, if that pissed people off because they don't know how to take a fucking joke these days.
Yeah,
I
but they
wonder
waited till he died to comment on his page.
to say
That's
some
where,
shit. Yeah,
yeah, like
bitch
that's
ass.
yeah, whatever.
I think a lot of it has to do with the culture now with social media. Everybody's got an opinion, right? And they always want to throw in their 2 cents. And I think we've got to the point where people just aren't held accountable for the things they say.
Yes.
And unfortunately, that's part of the business is when people pass the eyes on the product, go through the roof. Audie's aware of my rule when it comes to memorabilia. If somebody dies, we
Yep.
pull it. And for the most part, we forget to go back to even list it. So I know there's a stack of Sid Haig stuff there. I just won't go back and just forget about it. But everybody handles things differently. And I think sometimes people don't know how to communicate, or they are entitled and they try to bash people at their worst moments. And the reality is negativity attracts more eyes, unfortunately. This is the world we live in. So I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's the truth. Reality.
Right. Look at MGK. He's fucking popular as fuck, and it's because everybody hates him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, people aren't held accountable for their words anymore, their actions, and I wish that instead of a like button, Facebook has a like button. I wish you could have a punch in the face button where you could just send them a
Yeah.
fucking
And
fist.
punch. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, motherfuckers. I fucking hate that shit, dude.
I think people try to always. They'll try to push their agenda, especially if it's a negative one, and then people will be liking it, like, oh my god, and then instantly it becomes, well, everybody thinks that because they got 10 likes. I'm like, 10 people, because of 10 people liking that comment, everybody hates something, and it's unfortunate when it happens in that scenario because it's like, man, that's brutal, right? But it's just, yeah, social media is a very toxic place. I mean, it's just,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's only getting worse.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I was watching a podcast on one of my favorite rappers, which a lot of people don't like because he's everywhere. Is Riff Raff, and he was on a podcast and he was talking about social media, how he said it gives the wrong person a voice. He's like, my DMs on my IG are blown up by people I don't even know. And it's like, and he said it was like just negative. Like, why did you cancel? Why were you only on stage for an hour? Why did it take? And he's like, this is the problem with the social media is it gives, and he said it, I'm not talking fans or peasants, but he was like, I'm a artist, I'm a performer, and I have some person in my DMs that's pissed off at me. And it's like things happen, and he made a good valid point because it's like, uh let's go back like what? Maybe MySpace. I don't even think you could reach out to celebrities in MySpace, could you? Because it wasn't
Yeah,
really a big
No.
I
thing.
think you could.
Could you? Because
I've
they didn't
contacted
have the
bands.
verified. They didn't have verified, so it was like some fan
Oh, you
page.
didn't
But
even know if it was
yeah, so
really
you
them
didn't
or not.
know. But going back to where all three of us were all about the same age, where we had, I know I had like a track phone that I had to buy minutes for, and the internet I can only get if I go to like my neighbor's house because we didn't even have the internet, the dial up, and the to think if I could reach out to like, I don't know, Sid Haig or Riff Raff or MGK during those times, imagine how different it would have been then than it is now, with just how big it is for anybody to fucking message, anybody without going through an agent. You know what I mean? Like it's a good and a bad thing, I guess, because for these podcasts that we do, they seem to always respond to us.
Speaking of that, man, how did you? What was your like first private signing, Jr? Like, how did you reach out to people? Did you have to do it through an agency, or like you said with Sig at a con, or Were you sending fucking emails, Facebook messages?
No, I just went up to people and like started talking to them in person at events, and then would get their information, then exchange emails and set it up like that. I wasn't doing 200 signings a year at the time either. I was just some dude with like a vision and was starting out, and so it was a lot easier. I think for me, I think it was a lot easier for me to do signings than it is now. I think in today's market, it's extremely difficult to set up contracts, and it takes a lot longer because you have to be able to protect your company as well as making sure everything's in the contract that you're going to do, what you're going to do, and hold people accountable, like my company and the other side as well, which is the talent and management. But back in the day, it was a lot easier for me to do signings. Now it's like, we're also talking 6 years ago where there was maybe a handful of companies, and now there's like 50 of them. So
Right.
everybody's trying to get their name out and trying to position themselves into that niche market in this big field. And so for me, it's now is a lot harder to set up deals.
Yeah,
It does kind of suck. I wish we could go back to just like 5 companies instead of fucking,
I mean, I'm all for like multiple companies. I think for me, it's like you're gonna build your company. Everybody's different too, though. So like that does help. Everybody has their genre that they're trying to build and their vision of what they're trying to build. And for me, it's like I have 10 employees and 2 warehouses and 401ks and life insurances and taxes, employee and payroll taxes, state taxes, franchise tax. My business is just set up differently than most, and we're trying to run an actual business and scale it to where it could be one day a company like Fanatics or something, like an actual corporate company. That's my vision. That's my goal. So everybody's going to be different. So from a signing perspective, we just do things a little bit different now.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're doing it the right way as far as a company goes.
Well, I can say this. I remember emailing Zobie.
Mm-hmm.
Yo,
Yeah.
yo, can I get this? What is this? And then
Yeah.
and that was it. That's how you ordered. That's how you ordered
Yeah,
autograph.
Yeah, there's no website. There's no email
Yeah.
list. There's no. If you called, there was like a Google number that, because I didn't want to put my phone number out there, that you would call, and I would be the one answering emails, answering the phone, fulfilling, posting the ads. Like I was everything, and I kind of miss that sometimes. Like I have moments, especially like today. Like I had a moment where I'm just like walking around and asking anybody, like, "Hey, what could I do?" And like the new hire, he was taking photos. I'm like, "Oh, do you want me to help you?" And he kind of looked at me. He's like, "I'm sure you have something else to do." I'm like, "Kind of don't have anything to do right now. Like, what do you want? Like, what can I do?" So I do miss doing certain things sometimes. But and then I also have moments where like people will reach out to me. He's like, "Hey, I bought this on the auction. Like, and when is it going to ship?" I'm like, "I have no idea. I couldn't tell you when it's going to ship because I haven't looked at an auction in years. I have somebody who does that. So it's kind of funny because it's like, certain things have changed in the sense of I'm not answering emails, I'm not picking up the phone, but I sometimes miss it.
Yeah, I think it was Jen that I was talking to on the email. Whenever you were Zobie email autograph. But yeah, it was like I think she put her signature name on there, and at the time I didn't know. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, I'm just happy they're responding back to me because email how that is. You send an email, and you're like, well, I hope they respond. But yeah, it definitely came a long way, man. And I must say that coming out of your house, running it from your house to now 2 warehouses is pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah, it's very stressed. I think we both briefly talked about like mental health before this call, right? I mean, it's again, it's really what you're trying to accomplish in the business. I'm a big believer that you have to foster a community and build a connection to your consumer and bring it in and focus on that type of growth. And then you add the ads, the blended ads to see what new customers you can get to your existing organic crowd. But at the end of the day, like I feel like your mental health suffers. Social media can be a very toxic place for an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
If you guys are aware of that. I'm very happy that I've actually stepped away social media wise, like way. I've done a lot of things to step away from social media in the last year and a half since the pandemic started, because my brain was just it was fried. It was to the point where I was just not happy whatsoever. And so, but you always have to put on like the happy face when you're on camera and you're trying to promote your company. So I was suffering from pretty bad overload there in the pandemic for sure.
Before we hopped on here, we did talk about mental health, but another thing we talked about was balls. And speaking of big hairy pears, JR, you made a fucking huge ballsy decision, leap of faith, by fucking leaving your 6-figure job and starting Zobie, right? And your wife was 100% supportive, and like that had to be fucking terrifying to make that fucking leap and that decision, dude.
You know what's more terrifying though? The counter to that I could have just been doing something that I didn't enjoy in life and waste my one life doing something I didn't care about. What's more terrifying than that too is the stress on your shoulders to make payroll every 2 weeks, because it's not like I have one person. The biggest disrespectful thing you can do when I talk to other entrepreneurs is when I hear people say, well, yeah, this is just a side hustle. Like, you know, this is like something I do after 5. And I'm just like, yeah, that's disrespectful. Like to the people who are actually trying to do this like full time, and like making payroll is a big thing for me. Like the responsibility to pay 10 employees and to do everything by the book and pay your taxes and all that. Like it's a huge, huge stress. And so for me, yes, the counter to leaving that, obviously for my family financially at the time, it was probably a stupid move, but I'm doing something that I love for a lot less. And I wouldn't change it for anything. I think I've learned and pushed myself further than I ever have, mentally, physically, emotionally. I think Audie probably deals with my Sunday afternoon, random Sundays where I just call him and like in the verge of tears, and I'm trying to just navigate my life. But yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, it's you know, you bringing me onto the team opened up my eyes to everything. Someone that's not in it and doesn't see it, they just, I want it. When are you shipping it? When are you doing this? You brought me in, and it was like the Matrix. I took like the what is it, the red pill or whatever, and it opened me
Yeah,
up to everything. And I was like, yo, how do you do this? You know,
yeah,
it was definitely an eye opener. And at that time, I think you were still Zobie HQ was in your house, you
yeah,
know,
yeah. It was.
and it was like just everywhere memorabilia, and I was just like, shit, man.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. We have 6,200 square feet, and we ran out of space already. So we had to get new shelves that can just go higher, and decide that we have 20-foot walls. And the one thing that's happened in the pandemic with just like real estate and inflation, we were talking about that commercial real estate is like through the roof, square footage wise. People are asking for a lot. So we moved to Houston, Texas in the middle of a pandemic. It was probably one of the most hardest things I've ever done in my life. And you can't find, 10,000, 15,000 square feet warehouses that are available that fit what you need, which is full ventilation, air conditioning for what we do. It's very important. It's humid in Texas. It's the armpit of, the US. And
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy what you deal with obstacles as an entrepreneur trying to navigate day-to-day operations, but as well as growth and scaling the business. And I think that I miss being in a 120 square foot office, and that was the 2 racks of Zobie products at the time. I wish some of the things from the beginning it was still like that, because I would be lying to you if I would say I didn't get emotional sometimes thinking about that, because I feel like life was just a little bit simpler for me. Not only mentally, but emotionally. Physically, it's whatever you adapt. The human body will adapt to it. But I kind of wish it was like that sometimes still.
Yeah, it was definitely as you were growing, I was seeing more and more. I think at one point I was like, dude, like you got to bring more people on, man. We're sinking.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it was just
Especially in the
like,
pandemic. Well,
yeah,
if you think about it, March of 2020, when the pandemic hit, we had one employee, which was Adam, employee 001. Now we're like deep into like Marco is the latest new hire. He started Tuesday. And then we had like 5 different interviews already for like another team member. So it's just kind of one of those things where you also, you don't know how, like you kind of add people and you're like trying to build and scale and have different pillars, and you're kind of like trying to get talent, not just bodies. But one of the things as an entrepreneur is like you just need bodies to do something. Like I just need somebody to make these boxes or print these labels. And then as you actually start growing, you have time to breathe. You're like, okay, I need somebody to do this, or this is something that we need help now, but this is what we need to do to grow. It's a whole different challenge in itself. I think I do enjoy that, but I do also enjoy the simpler times in business too, you know.
What's your hiring process like? Do you put ads in the paper? Or is it word of mouth? Like, hey, my cousin would be good at this job, and you do full interviews and all that shit, or what?
I will no longer hire people that I know, like family or friends or anything. It didn't work out for me.
No, it never does. You don't rent to family. You don't loan money to family. I've rented houses to nephews, and they fucking shit on me. Oh, Uncle Darren don't care if I'm late with the rent, you know, so I get it.
No,
dude.
I learned that. I like to think that I'm like, and Adi probably knows this, is probably like my worst trait is that I'm like, I will believe in anybody and give as many chances as possible. Like naturally, I try to believe in what people are saying, that this is who they are, this is what they're going to do. And I've been burned way too many times. I also believe that I'm a very progressive leader, but I'm also probably not the best day-to-day boss. And there's like, I'm a vision guy. I'm okay doing the work myself. But if I'm like the guy that will try to do everything. And most people, if you're a type of person that, oh, well, he's doing everything, I kind of will just like chill, you probably won't work well with our group of employees, just because everybody's a go-getter. Everybody's trying to like eat, you know, and they are like looking at it like what it could be, right? They truly, especially guys like Adam. Like Adam's been there when there was 5 shelves and now there's 2 warehouses and different rows. So he knows what we can do. And so I'm just not the guy that's going to be like, hey, Audie, you did amazing today. Good job. Kudos to you. I'm not that guy. I'm not a hoorah guy like that. I'm more of a fuck yeah, let's rock and roll. And then like maybe you'll get something like in 2 months where like, dude, we kicked ass. But like I'm not an everyday, oh my God, let's go. Like I wish I was. I just wasn't. I was always around directors that were military, and I wasn't brought up like that. And nor did I have a father figure. I didn't have anybody who said, Jerry, you're going to be great in life. So I don't have that. And I wish I did, but I'm just not built like that. So I'm more of a, like, just fucking do the work, shut up, and like just work. You know, that's how I am personally. So
you ever had to fire anybody?
Yeah.
You want to talk about it or no?
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I think I have pros and cons, and Audie knows that, but I've had employees who just didn't work out. They just didn't work out because they didn't have it.
Okay.
It was what we needed, you know, and sometimes also people, I think you'll always meet somebody in the interview process and they're always going to say like, I'm the best thing. I know this, I know this, I know this. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, and then they start working and you're like,
that guy was full of shit.
Yeah. And then but I think I guess this is more like advice for anybody who's possibly like, you know, an entrepreneur who might be listening to this, is you learn a lot about yourself when that happens. Like you truly do learn more about the losses or the decisions that were made that just didn't work out. You realize where you went wrong. And if you can actually do something about it, it would be very positive for you long-term business-wise and human-wise too. Like one of the things I've always wanted to do is I wanted to build a company that had benefits. I remember it took me a while in cybersecurity to get real good benefits because the market was so competitive. They would give anybody a good salary because everybody was trying to go right out of college making 6 figures. So it's like, they'll just kind of treat you like however, you know, like we're going to call you at 2 a.m, you better answer. And that's kind of the way they treated you. Because of you were getting paid so much. So I wanted to be able to offer a 401k 6% match. I wanted to be able to pay for dental and vision. And I wanted to be able to have taken care of like medical, you know, insurance is super difficult, A, and B, it's very expensive, which most American families realize that, you know, it's going to be very expensive for a family. And I wanted to be able to like this year, we're doing something in June where it's mandatory mental week, the last week of June. Everybody's getting a 1 week paid vacation, and it's just a mental week because by the time you hit 6 months in, you're pretty burned out. It's when you start the second 6 weeks, 6 months of the year. So I told everybody, like, everybody's getting the week off. Nobody's gonna answer emails. Nobody's gonna fulfill anything. Nobody's gonna list anything. We'll have daily specials if the customers can't wait 5 business days to ship the item. Don't buy it, right? That's how we're gonna do it because our mental health is more important than an email that needs to be answered. It's autographs. This isn't life or death. This isn't water and food that we're selling. We're selling an emotional need, emotional response right there and then. I want this. So I think my guys' mental health, my team's mental health is super important. So we're going to do that this year. It's just
That's amazing. I've never heard of anybody doing that, and I think that's fucking awesome of you. Not only having to let not customers, let employees go. Are there any clients that you had to blacklist? I obviously don't expect you to name drop, but is there? Can you tell us about any situations without name dropping or shooting yourself in the foot about some fucking celebrities? You're like, I am never doing a signing with that motherfucker again.
I've been burned more than I wish to admit.
Burned
yeah.
How?
I won't mention names, but we've had
right.
Situations this week where people have backed out of deals because they want to charge more. I've had a situation, Adi knows the details about it, where 2 days before we were supposed to get on a flight recently, somebody tried to up their price by like $25 across the board, which would allow us to be in two scenarios. And he knows the truth of what I said to this person, but I would either go forward with it and lose money because we had taken in product for fans and wholesale and just do the signing, take it on the chin, or say, go fuck yourself. We're not going to do it. And I chose that position and then finally came to their senses and we did the deal. But I think right now, what people need to understand is we're still seeing the side effects of a pandemic, right? I mean, I think China's still locked down. You have inflation at an all-time high, right? People's additional revenue or income that they have, you go and put gas, you're spending, a lot more money than you're used to the week before. Money's tight right now for everybody. You also see the side effect from businesses. You can get Funko Pops for $8, $9 before the pandemic. You can get whatever you want. Now, 1/4 of the inventory is non-existent. It's being pushed back. You're paying 3 times the amount you used to pay. You're paying $15, $16 per pop. People expect for you to add the same type of value in a $40 box when the celebrities are signed. Like now the mandatory minimum is like $50. Oh, and if you want a Funko Pop, it's an extra 20. So it's like, how are you supposed to still produce really great products at reasonable price points? It's not realistic. So when I have those situations and celebrities try to modify what they want to get paid, I think they feel like they can strong arm you. Sadly, I see a lot of companies going through with it still. And I think that if we actually spoke to each other and said, hey, if you do it, you're basically screwing the customers, you're screwing yourself, and you're also screwing the person that's going to come in after you as a business. Because now they're basically going to tell their celebrity friends, hey, you can do this and get away with it. And
I didn't never even thought of that. Yeah,
that's a bad precedence in the business, right? And so you have to be able to make decisions what's right for what you're doing. Everybody's in different situations.
You mentioned inflation and shit, like after the pandemic started and all this, man. You could probably appreciate some of it, but the other part I know you're gonna hate. The other day we were making out of cheddars, dude. That's my fucking favorite shit in the planet, right? You know what that is, right? All right, Audie don't, because he's fucking white as fuck. But anyway,
I had some when I came up there, ass.
I know. I introduced you to it, and you're welcome, by the way. But anyway, I could eat that shit every goddamn day. But my old lady went to the fucking store, and it was like $12 a pound for skirt steak, which is fucking insane because it's usually like it's an expensive meat, $5, $6, $7 a pound. But dude, what pissed me off, she bought a fucking watermelon for the kids. That motherfucker was $12 for a fucking watermelon. Yeah. I was like, man.
Yeah, so think about it. If I heat this, go from $5 to $6, go to $12. typical family of four, average salary for a family is 60 to 65,000. That's pretty much 90% of America. Well, how much extra income do you have to pay gas, pay your bills, your rent? I mean, I see New York, some people are getting monthly rent already was like $2,400. Now it's like $4,200. And it's like you have a couple months to either figure it out or, fuck off. It's tough. That's the reality. And we are not selling water or food. It's not a necessity. So you have to be very creative. One of the things I started doing was like, oh, I'll offer free shipping on products, just to be able to like save some money. Now, that doesn't mean that we're getting free shipping from USPS or UPS. No, we're still paying it. But
Right.
how can I give incentives to the customers to be able to still buy? How do you not impact monthly sales when everything's getting higher? So I'm trying to get creative.
Well, you did, in my opinion, with the Zobie supporter thing.
Mhm.
$6 a month. I mean, we all piss $6 a day. Like, fuck, what's $6 a month?
Yeah.
And you get 20% off. Like, that's fucking awesome. Like, I
Mhm.
do it, and like I haven't bought any, like, no offense, but I haven't bought anything from you guys in a while because nothing like really piqued my interest or whatever. But I still pay the $6 a month because I want to be a supporter. And when it does come around, I get fucking 20% off, dude. So
12%,
that's
12% of our active supporters have not purchased anything in the last 90 days.
really.
Yeah, and then 7.2% haven't purchased anything in 6 months. So I look at that as two scenarios. One, they subscribed and forgot, and they're just balling like that. They just don't go and remove that subscription. The other part is just like they believe in the vision, they believe in the company, they want to support it. One guy randomly last week, he purchased something on the website and left $100 tip. Like nobody
Damn.
really like we have the tip option. I think we've gotten like maybe a handful of them. And he sent an email. I was like, hey, I tipped this because like you were like just great on that live video you did. And I was like, dude, thank you so much. Like that helps. And I've always said the supporter discount literally keeps the lights on in the sense it pays the lease on the warehouse. Like that's literally where the money goes to. Ann and Shelby, which is our accountants, they always tell me like, all right, this is how many active you had this month versus last month, and this is where the money's going, so we can pay. I'm like, all right, cool, awesome. So it literally keeps the lights on at Zobie, the supporter program. And there is a lot of people like yourself who support the company and haven't made a purchase. And I also very understanding like when people say like nothing has piqued my interest right now or lately. I completely understand that. I never take offense to that. It's like I understand. It's cool. Like it's sometimes like one guy came in 2 days ago. He's like, Jayare, it's so nice to meet you. I just want to be upfront. Like I haven't purchased anything the last 3 months. It doesn't mean that I hate Zobie. And I'm like, it's cool. Like life happens. Like it's all right. He's like, can I give you a hug? I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's.
Like, no, get away from me, weirdo.
No, it's like I don't take offense to it. Like I
Right.
understand completely. Life. It's life, guys. Like I always tell Audie this. Like we have one life. That's it. This is it, guys. This conversation, this moment. That's it.
Yeah, it's definitely. And that goes into like the mystery boxes too. Jayare knows
How are you gonna fuck this segue up? We're talking about support, and you didn't even bring up our goddamn Patreon, you son of a bitch.
We'll
If
get to
anyone
that
wants
later.
to support this podcast, we will take your $5 a month. We don't charge $6 like Zobie. We only charge $5.
Yeah.
All right, now go ahead. I had to do a plug, man. I can't believe you fucked that segue up.
Should I plug the Zobie ad in this right now?
You see what I deal with, Jayare? My co-host fucking sucks sometimes.
Dude,
No, but our podcast ain't free either. You know what I mean? Like I can only imagine what you spend a year on fucking boxes and tissue paper and fucking bubble wrap, and like we pay $50 a month just to go live. I fucking dropped over $300 on t-shirts the other day. So it's like, if anybody out there wants to support us, please send us $5 a month. I fucking love it.
Yeah, no, people
totally
don't understand like how much that helps. To be honest with you, because I remember like you don't make money on mystery boxes. Trust me. That's the reason why there's only
and that's what I was going to go into before I was rudely interrupted. Like you should see the conversation between Jayare and I. He's pumping mystery boxes. I'm helping what little I can do from here. And I see so many negative Nancys. and JR has had to reel me back in. Like, dude, it's not the end of the world. But I'm like, do you know how hard it was to get A, B, and C? Do you know the pins in China stuck? Do you like I see the behind scenes, and then it takes that one fucker that's like, this is a garbage box. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And I'm
my
just like, I want to punch him in the face,
Do you?
but JR's like, dude, I don't care.
I was gonna
Like,
say, how do you let that roll off your back? Because if I put out
yeah,
a song on the internet and someone was like, "This guy's fucking talentless. He can't sing or scream or rap. He fucking blows," that hurt my feelings. I am not gonna lie. That would upset me.
yeah.
So how do you deal with that? Oh,
I
also Ryan, I don't have the stickers, motherfucker. Audie does. Ryan wants to know when Darren's gonna send him a sticker. I don't have them, so yell at Audie.
yeah,
Anyway,
having a point conversation.
Ryan pays $10 a month, by the way, on the Patreon, so we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Your shirt is in the mail. But
Yeah,
yeah, how do you let the negativity bullshit roll off your back, Jr? Because that's got to hurt your feelings at least a little bit, right? Or no?
it's the
so
Sunday phone calls.
yeah, so I got a really great comment, like, or email. I printed it. It's literally in my office. It said, "I've been supporting Zobie for the last 18 months. I loved every single box, but this box sucks, so I will no longer support you." I mean, dude, it was like the best email I've gotten in a while, because it's like, oh, so because we were doing good, you had one bad one out of the last 17 months, and now you're not going to support us because we had one bad month. I mean, damn, I didn't know I had to be perfect. But no, I think, does it bother me? I think it used to bother me a lot more. I'll be honest with you, Darren. I think everybody here has some sort of anxiety or antidepressants that we're probably on. So yeah, it definitely bothered me more.
Dude, I'm high as a kite right now. No, I'm just
I wish
kidding.
I was high.
Not on marijuana, just on fucking pills because my goddamn balls hurt, my back hurts, my fucking serotonin doesn't flow the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
But anyway, there I go interrupting our guest again. Go ahead.
No, I think it used to bother me a lot more in the beginning. It's bothered me a lot less. I constantly have to remind the employees because they're really more emotional than I am, where it's like, this person said this. And my response is, hey, who the fuck is that? I just, no, honestly, no, I don't mean that as, I don't even mean that as a flex or disrespectful. That's
right.
The first thing I say. And B, it's okay. You got to look at it as, do they have something that's really good that we can actually improve on? And I know it's like, oh, you're saying that. No, Audie creates the horror box, guys. Newsflash.
That's why I haven't bought one in 8 months, because he's always like, let's put an ice cream man again. I'm like, dude.
yeah. I side story there, but I will get to that. No, I think that I built like tougher skin over the years, and I think that I've also understood something that was very valuable that was told to me recently. And I was venting to somebody, and they're like, hey, I had this conversation with this multi-billionaire, and this is what he told me when I asked him something similar. He said, if I was to get out of bed every single day and just focus on making everybody happy, I wouldn't have any type of happiness or wealth or health. And it really hit me hard when I heard that, because if you really break down what that means, is that we all want to make sure we all hit it out of the park, right? We want to make sure that everything we do, we're the best. We're the best looking. We're the tallest person in the room. We have the biggest muscles. We have the most money. We have
biggest cock,
the biggest dicks, everything, right? That's literally what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reality is, that's not the truth, right? There's gonna be some tough things that we're gonna have to encounter. Probably things that are gonna hurt the ego. You know, we're gonna fail for sure, 100%. We're gonna fail every fucking day. How much can you get up and take that shit in the chin over and over and over so you can walk stronger the next day? Audie's experienced this with me. I'm not perfect whatsoever. I fucked up more than I've had W's, you know, but I eat the L's and I don't let it like really affect me like it used to. It used to like get really dark for me, edge of the cliff type of deal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just like, fuck it. Like, I fucked up. Let's fucking come back stronger. And it's not just me. I mean, I think we get probably 2 or 3 people who will like say something negative and they have to go share it in every single fucking community and social media. Honestly, who the fuck are you? Like, honestly, like, just
Right.
be fucking honest. Like, go build something. Like, I see a comment right now is like Eric Andrews. My pins are stuck in China right now too. I do a small horror box. I made under $10 my first box. You understand the struggle, then, Eric.
Yeah,
You
and keep going with it, man. Just you
fucking
might
go.
your first year, you're not. I've always been told like your first year of being an entrepreneur or whatever, you ain't gonna probably make a goddamn dime in your first
Yeah.
year.
And he knows, right? He's literally going through it. And so for
Right.
one small business owner to the other, keep fucking going. You're not going to make money.
And
You're
I'm
just
a
you're,
yeah.
you're gonna do this for love. For love. Let's like you're all about it. You want to talk about how you can do all this, prove it. Lose fucking money.
Exactly. Right.
Lose money, lose sleep, lose hair, lose everything. Let's see how much you fucking love this shit. And then you're around for fucking 5 years, 6 years, and you're scaling. You're not the same fucking company. You're not it's still working from home. You have like employees. You've grown. Then show me like how much you fucking love it, right? Everybody's got an opinion. I don't give a fuck. Look,
100%. That's the best shit I've ever heard you say, motherfucker. Like you're challenging them, like bitch, fucking do it. You know, put your fucking money where your mouth is, motherfucker.
Yeah, you want to talk shit? Prove it. Prove
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Prove it to
Audie
yourself.
here. I love acronyms. I'm a lyricist. I love playing on words, and Audie says all the time, man. Fail is what? Audie, tell him.
Yeah, fail is the first attempt in learning.
Boom.
And that's what we take to the grave in the army. You know, it's just one of them things. Like to grow, you have to fail. And what JR said earlier, you can't take the W's all the time because you're not going to grow. I think the problem that I have dealing with some of the passion that I have behind doing the boxes, and like I said, that's a Sunday talk that JR and I do because I get pissed more than he does. Is the hard work and everything behind scenes. It's not the items. You can hate them. I don't give a shit. Your fandom is, oh, I only like the mainstream fandoms, but it's the negative Nancy's, maybe like 3 of them. This is fucking stupid. Fuck this. And it's like, and that goes back to the love and passion behind it. With me, I just envision everything that goes into it, and for someone to shit on it, fucking pisses me off. You know,
But
and JR used to be on the other side of that. JR was the one coming to me like, "Oh, what am I doing wrong?"
I was
Now
gonna
it's
ask,
like
yeah.
me going to him. I'm like, "Fuck these
Because
motherfuckers!"
because you sit around and watch all the fucking YouTube videos. I bet Jr. Do you
Oh,
even
I do.
watch the reviews anymore?
Oh, oh
I
man, and
wouldn't
that's
either.
my
You probably
problem.
first of all, you probably don't have the fucking time to, but second of all, I wouldn't want to do it either because all YouTubers are boring besides me, of course. I'm like the best. But
so here's
he fucking scoffed at me. Oh my god.
When Adi and I have these conversations, I always tell him like 2 or 3 people are always the loudest because the only way they get clout is by mentioning fucking Zobie.
Yes.
Yep,
Yes,
absolutely.
fucking sir.
You look at the
Only
negative
time-
Nancy's reviews on a Zobie.
Yeah, the only time you're ever gonna get likes is by using my motherfucking name. That's it.
Yep. Motherfucking boom. Dude, I'd like not to bring up like music again or like MGK again or whatever, but like I'm a fan of his. I like him. And I see all these cats on Facebook just talk mad shit about him, but it's like this is how I heard of this guy to begin with because I see all the negativity and I'm like, I'm gonna go peep this guy out. I bet he fucking is garbage. And I'm like, damn, I actually really like this shit. And I would have been none the wiser. I had no fucking idea who he was if it wasn't for the goddamn haters out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
It happens, and for me, I look at it as like me and Audie have these conversations on Sundays. It's literally random Sundays we'll talk, and it's like, dude, look who it's coming from. You don't even know who they are. I legit don't know who they are. I don't go on YouTube. I don't. It's very toxic for me. I will sometimes make a comment because like if somebody sends me the video like 2-3 times and it's outside of my team, then I'm like, let me watch this shit, right? Or if my wife says like, you should watch this. They had some really good feedback. Like, I know you weren't happy with this product because this happened. They don't know, but this happened. Watch this. I'm like, okay, and I'll make a comment, and I'll always put -JR, like so they know it's coming from me. I saw it. But I don't go, and I'm not in any other community. Like, you can send me all the invites you want. I'm never gonna accept them.
Right.
I won't answer stuff after 5. That's my time for my mental health and my family. Right. They come first. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't put myself out there like that. I couldn't tell you what anybody else is doing. I had a conversation with Michael Minton He runs a good company in Illinois, and we saw each other for the first time before the pandemic. And he's
I
telling
was
me,
there for that actually.
yeah, well, this was like a horror hound. This is like 4 weeks ago or something.
Well, you
And
met him before that.
right, but like I hadn't seen him since then. Actually, I hadn't
Oh,
seen
okay. I see what you're saying now.
Hmm.
And so I got up and like we hugged. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Like, how's everything? And he goes, oh, I've been so busy. I'm sure you're aware. And I was like, no, like, how you been? I have no idea.
Right.
Like, I have no idea. And he goes,
Like, no offense, you know.
yeah, no. And I told him, and he was looking at me like, he was kind of looking at me like, let's go to dinner. And I'm like, yeah, let's go to dinner. Like, we went to BJ's restaurant, and he's telling me like all these like things that are happening on in the world, and I'm just like, holy crap. He's like, your mouth's like open, like when I'm talking. I was like, I have no idea. Like, I didn't know that was going on. He's like, your guys aren't telling you about this stuff that's going on. I was like, no, my guys talk to me about Zobie mystery boxes or whatever the hell's going on, like an email that came in that's like, you know, like, hey, this has got damaged or something. But like, I personally I'm part of any community. I don't really talk to a lot of people. I'm really loner. I have no idea. So he was just like filling me in. I was like, I feel like I'm missing out on so much like fun, you know, but we're so hyper focused in what we do that we just don't pay attention. And I want it like that. It's good for my mental health, to be honest with you.
Joe Rogan said something I appreciated. He says that he's like, I'll post and then ghost.
Yep.
Like he'll make a fucking Instagram post and he'll never a tweet or something and he will never pick it up again. He won't read comments or none of that shit. And
Yep.
for your mental health, man, it's got to be fucking great on that because
I'm the king of posting and ghosting. Audie kind of makes fun of me sometimes. He's like, "Did you see that comment?" I was like, "Yeah, no, I didn't." Like, I think for me, I'm 36 years old. I know that most men live between 66 and 74 years old. So I'm like, well, shit, life's going so fast. My daughter's going to be 12. Zoe's going to be a teenager soon. I'm also like, in the last 2 years, have really come to like understand what makes me happy and like how valuable life is. Like this moment we're sharing right now, like once that's done, that's done. It's just a memory now for us. And like for me, like not to get like hardcore about it, but like time is so precious to us. You know, I only jump on here because I love both of you and you've always been great to me. So I'm getting on here and we're having this badass moment and having this conversation, but life's so precious that I think a lot of people waste time. And for me, like, I really want to build something that's going to like change. It was going to make it for better. And so for me, I don't want to waste fucking time. And so social media is a waste of time for me.
There's 3 things I want to say about that. A, I love you too. 2, that's not necessarily true because you can always go back and listen to this on Spotify, even though the moment's gone. And the 3rd thing I want to say about that is life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end of it, the faster it goes.
Yeah, that's true. That message from Darren Duncan. Toilet paper. I can always go buy more toilet paper, fucker.
Now you're going to get requests to sign toilet paper.
Yeah. I'll sign some toilet paper.
I remember getting a box from you guys and the tissue paper said Zobie on it.
Yeah.
And I commented on it in my unboxing video. I'm like, this shit was not free. He had to fucking pay to get his fucking name printed on it. And I never once saw it again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he probably realized like that was it was cool, but dumb because it fucking cost me this much. Like, how much do you fucking spend a year on cardboard, tissue paper, bubble wrap? Just your fucking.
Yeah, 257,000 last year.
On just that.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's the shipping. You should see the shipping, bro.
Yeah, the shipping.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, without shipping alone. Just
shipping label.
Who do you get your cardboard from? Do you have trucks that bring in cardboard boxes?
Yeah, I think between cardboard, tissue paper, envelopes, top loaders, and then shipping was 811,000 last year.
I heard that there was recently. I mean, there's a fucking shortage for everything. That, you know, whenever, but I don't think it's a shortage of material. It's probably a shortage on truck drivers.
Yeah,
you know, because like the bar don't have chicken wings anymore. And it's like, oh, there ain't a fucking chicken shortage. There's a billion of them motherfuckers everywhere. There's tons of chickens. Go kill them and make some goddamn wings. It's the fact that they can't get them delivered to the restaurants and the bars. So like, I did recently hear that there was a top loader shortage. Did you have to deal with that or not? Because I heard someone else who owns a smaller company said there was a top loader shortage.
So there are 2 things on that. One, it's also like maybe there is there is a lot of chicken, but nobody wants to pay the prices. That's another thing that you don't think about.
Right.
Top
The
loader.
bartender did tell me that they would have to charge like it was like $2 or something a wing. Like there's no that 50-cent wing Wednesday is gone, you know?
Yeah, nobody's doing that. I mean, I think even
Right.
Wingstop was saying that it's like not actual wings, it's like nuggets now or something. They were doing that for a period of time, but yeah, because you know what? If you think about it, boneless wings are chicken nuggets for adults.
Oh, absolutely. But I will fuck up some boneless wings. I don't give a shit. You call me less of a take my man card, my metal card. I will relinquish it. I don't care. I love stabbing a fork into a little fucking ball of meat, dipping it in some shit and eating the fuck out of it. Fuck bones. It just all it does is get in my beard. Fuck that.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue you have is if anything that's being imported by China. So that means most top loaders, which is a plastic, is manufactured in China, as well as enamel lapel pins. There's a bunch of different distributors, but if you really look at where they're coming from 10 major warehouses in one city in one part of China, right? That's where the manufacturing is done for most products that we consume as businesses. So lapel pins, I think I've seen about 71-cent increase now due to not only manufacturing but import fees. And then top loaders, you used to be able to be into a top loader for about 57 cents. You're into it for about $1.59 now with inflation, custom duty fees, and then shipping, right? And then you also have to deal with an 8 to 10 month delay in getting stuff to the port of LA, and then having to pay, you know, whatever shipping program you're going to use to pick it up and bring it to you. So, you know, in reality is that it's very expensive. We are probably going to move to sleeve and cardboarding most autographs. I think we're one of the only companies that still top loads memorabilia. And my mentor, who runs a multi-million-dollar, you know, memorabilia company, is like, dude, we stopped that years ago because it's just so much of a cost, and you can save 40,000 a year instead of buying top loaders. You can probably buy some. You can probably hire somebody else to help grow the business and generate revenue. And I think that's probably what we're gonna head to. Like we're gonna have to, just because it's so expensive.
You'll save a lot of money. I noticed that Samsung and iPhone, like iPhone stopped doing the fucking earbuds. Then they stopped doing the little blocks that the cord plugs into. Samsung did it too. And it
Yeah.
was like $4.5 million they save a year by stop putting those things in. My cousin here and one of our producers, Ben Newman, he owns a couple of bars up in Wisconsin, and he said chicken wings are up 140% now.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, so Jesus fucking
Ah.
Christ. I wonder if he even serves chicken wings at his fucking.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, dude. I mean, think about it. Like everything's getting more expensive, everything's more delayed. So your profit line, like I hate when I talk to entrepreneurs and they're like, I made 100,000 last year. I'm like, did you really make 100,000 or did you gross 100,000? There's a big difference.
Yes.
You can gross 100,000 and make $2,000 net. But when you really start looking at your business and what your profits are, like net after everything, you realize that your operating cost is going to be pretty aggressive, right? So it's difficult to be able to provide quality product time in, time out. And so I'm always, and Adi knows this, I'm always like, dude, if I hear somebody putting out like back-to-back mystery boxes that are really good, I'm like, fuck, that was awesome. Like, that's good for them. Like, they figured it out, because it's really difficult. And it's funny because mystery boxes is what Zobie started with, but Zobie boxes is one of like the many things we do. It's not even like one of the things that defines our company brand anymore. You know, it's, to be quite honest with you, it's something that we just do. So it's a challenge for sure, 100%.
What do you think you make the most money on? Like your biggest profit, or because this way people can know if they really want to support Zobie and they don't like the boxes, they can still, buy this. What's your, like, what object gives you the most profit margin and shit like that?
Honestly, the best profit margin is when we set up at vendor tables at Comic Cons.
Okay, cool.
People tend to like not go for PPG value on a Funko, or they're just there and they're so excited, and it's like they're willing to pay retail pricing as opposed to everybody on social media wants a discount. Yeah. I can't begin to tell you how many times I get emails every fucking day like, so and so offered me 10% if I bought something. Do you guys have a discount code? And I'm like, if you really want to support small business, pay full price. Like, percent is like on a 15% margin that we're making. When I give you 10%, we're making 5%.
Right.
Like,
and it's like, I got a YouTube channel. Give me some free boxes, or
comment on that.
Me Yeah, and like me being in a band, I sell T-shirts and stuff like that. We started doing that, branching that to the podcast now. But like, I'll get off stage and some bitch will be like, "Let me get a free shirt," and I'm like, "Do you like my band? I love your band. Well, then you shouldn't
Just go
mind
buy
spending $20 to support us.
Yeah.
I don't have $20. Well, coincidentally, bitch, I don't have free T-shirts.
Yeah, well, that's my fault. I give away a lot of my T-shirts, but probably where we would make the most money is if people actually bought our T-shirts or stickers or hats or whatever.
Right.
Because usually there's a margin there. If a T-shirt's $10, you sell it for 20, you make $10. You probably don't make that in a mystery box, to be honest with you. You're not making $10 per box. And if there's a company out there doing it, like, hey, hit me up. I'd love to like talk to you.
Yeah, no shit. Me too. I'll start one. Fuck it.
But social media influencers.
They feel so entitled, don't they? Like,
so
they got less than 100,000 subscribers, and they're like, they think they can actually help you by making a fucking video. Like, really, dude? It's so strange. I don't get that mentality, man.
I get emails all the time. It's like, I have YouTube channel. I have 100 subscribers. I'd love to get a free box and give my opinion. You want to give?
No, you just want a free box. That's all there is to it. They're not trying to push your company.
Here's a newsflash, influencer. If you're buying product on a website and then unboxing it on YouTube, you're not a fucking influencer. Okay? You're not a fucking Logan brother that gets paid $1 million to make a post. That's a fucking influencer. He influences people to go buy product. If you're buying product on my website and making a video and you're gonna say a bunch of hateful things, you're doing it for clout. You're doing it for clickbait. You are not an influencer. If anything, you just gave us $30 to go talk shit about us. You're a fan. You're a fan. I will hug you and kiss you on the cheek and sign an autograph for you if you do that. Because that's what you are. Let's just be honest with you. So
yeah, dude.
The real influencers out there who like honestly are putting in the work, creating really positive content, trying to educate and foster that community. So like, shout out to you guys, because you guys are truly what you're trying to do is influence, right? You're trying to build that brand recognition where you can be trusted, that your word isn't jaded. And so just to shout out, if you get free boxes and that's the only way you say good things, again, how does a consumer trust an influencer who will get a box for free and say good things and shit goes sideways, they say something bad? You're not an influencer, you just got bought. You literally just got bought. Yep. You received a gift. You say good things, you got bought. That's what it is. Yep. So that you mean to tell me that if I give you free stuff, you're going to say great things about my company? You're being bought. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, 100%, dude. So like I always say, like, if I get a box from you and I don't like it, I won't even make a video because I don't want to open it and be like, I didn't like this. This fucking sucks, or I wish it was this instead. Like, out of respect, I just won't even make a fucking video. And, like, you don't need me to make a fucking video anyway. You're going to fucking sell boxes regardless. Yep. I've never once used the word influencer. I don't even think I use the word YouTuber. I'm just an asshole with a camera. And, but once I buy a box, once it shows up on my doorstep, I can do whatever the fuck I want with it. But it doesn't affect you. I can set it on fire, whatever. But, like, yeah, out of respect, like, if it's it's just something I don't like. I'll never say it's a shitty box or a shitty company because there's plenty of other motherfuckers that do like it. Who am I to say that it fucking sucks? But when it gets to that point, I just won't even make a fucking video, Like,
I hope he doesn't mind me saying his name, but there's this guy in the community. He's a really nice gentleman. His name is Kobe Evans. And I put out a box. I put in a sticker in a box and he didn't like it, but he sent me the video. He always sends me the video links, and I happened to watch it and listen to him. And the way he explained it was like, you know what? That's cool because I know there's people who like this, but it's not my cup of tea. And he went to the next item, and I'm like, oh my god, yes, like that's the way, because they're trying to tell the consumer their like actual opinion, but also not trying to disrespect just to disrespect. There's a difference. If I was to tell Eric Andrew, and I'm just saying it because I've seen his comments here, and it's like I always see this box and would say, hey, this box is great. I don't really like this theme, but hey, I love the work they probably put into this art to make it into a lapel pin. Mm-hmm. Or I could be like, it's fucking shitty. Like, oh my god, it's a shitty thing. Dude, that dude just put in time into it. He probably put a lot of money into it. He's dealing with the same things I'm dealing with. See, there's a difference there. And I think that I respect people who are trying to look out for you in the sense of like, as a human, one-to-one, it's like, hey, I didn't like that. Here's why I didn't like it, but I'll still support you And, or if I see a box that maybe has a theme that I enjoy, I'll buy it. Just wanted to share my 2 cents. Hey, you know what? Thanks. I appreciate it. Audie knows this. I refunded boxes because I just appreciate the honesty. There's so many people who just rather kiss my ass and be like, oh, it's the best thing ever. And I'm like, I don't want that. I want you to be real with me because I'm going to be real with you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, go back and watch. I'm sure you've seen a few of my videos. If I don't like something, I'll say it, but I'm not a total jerk off about it.
Well,
You know,
and
I'll express my disappointment and say why, but I don't rip it apart like I did with that fucking, what was it, creeper cunt or whatever they were called. What were they called? Creeper crate, sleeper crate. You remember that, JR? I fucking ripped that whore apart. It was awesome. But that's like the only, huh?
What was it? The one where like they ripped off people? Was that the one or?
No, she sent me the box. It was bullshit.
Yeah.
It was like a $75 box. I know you've seen it because you gave my wife, they were actually boxes my wife bought. And you felt so bad about it. You actually sent my wife like 2 boxes to make up for it because we bought 2 boxes from these fucking pieces of shit. And we were getting like plastic cups and a bunch of stickers. And you were like, dude, I feel so bad for her. The next 2 boxes are on me. And then like you sent her some boxes and it was fucking cool. But,
dude, this is such a money grab. Like mystery boxes is a money grab. It really is. And people start, I think that's the one thing that I never get. Shout out to Germany real quick. I see you in the comments. Shout out to Brittany, who I call her Germany. But
listen, I got to interrupt you for 1 second. I'm going to go piss and smoke a cigarette. I feel like Audie here has a fuck ton to talk to you about when it comes to YouTubes and influencers. So I'm going to stop interrupting. I'm going to let you two talk. Carry on this conversation. I'll be back when I be back. All right.
This guy pisses more than anybody I know.
Yeah, you know what? I piss a lot too. You know what? I piss a lot in airplanes. For some reason, my nerves are so high.
Yeah. I hate airplane pisses, dude. It's the worst.
It's so uncomfortable, especially if you're in the middle or in the window seat. You gotta be like, I got a baby bladder. I gotta go pee.
I'm sorry. I know you're asleep and then you're in a induced coma because you don't like flights either. But I gotta go pee.
Yeah. Sorry. And then you have to do that walk of shame down the aisle. It's like, hey, it's me again.
Everybody's looking at you like, look at this motherfucker. You know?
Like you just peed 10 minutes ago. I'm like, hey, gotta go handle my baby dick. Gotta go pee.
Weak ass bladder. Sorry. Yeah. That's going back to the sticker thing. Real quick, I was gonna hit on it.
Yeah.
I seen a lot of people upset with the sticker we did and the artist. Because I know what goes behind. Because I know what artist we used. You know. Again, the passion, the heat, the sweat behind it. But it was the people that didn't like the sticker due to the fact that they couldn't flip it and make any money off of it. You know.
So what sticker was it?
Slimer.
Okay.
Jacob, it was the Slimer, the last box we just did.
You know what Adam did today?
No, what do you do?
Yeah, he was like, hey, Jared, have you seen that your free mini figures that you did and you signed them? You know that people are selling them on Macari? It's like, what? They're selling employee signed minifigures, and one guy sold it for $50. Owner of Zobie signed minifigure on Macari. Awesome. And I'm like, what? So to go back to that, we have people who buy the box and just flip the whole box. Like I love the box. I'm gonna flip it, dude. You know me, my stance on that. Like, cool, like flip it.
I get it. You bought it.
You know,
I paid for it. It's yours.
Yeah. There's a reason why there was a sticker. Eric basically just talked about how, you know, there's delays in China. If there is going to be an original idea, sometimes you have to navigate that challenge and come up with a second option, right? And you do. And unfortunately, we've had to do that over the years. Like, the item's not going to get here in time. We have to pivot. We have to make another product in order for us not to be delayed. I hate being late. You know that. You know.
No, I know.
So for me, it's like we have to pivot. We have to make things happen. And you know, we're not gonna. 4 items in a box is a challenging thing because most people buy things for 1 or 2 themes. That's it. So the other 2 themes are already happening. They're already coming in a perspective of I don't really care for those themes. So they're really buying it for 1 or 2 themes out of 4. So you really have to hit it home for those 2 themes that they're buying it for, or else the whole box is going to be a wash. Yeah. It's challenging. It really is.
No, it is. And from we go back and forth with the art prints as far as an actual art print. Are we going to do a metal print? And then we did the sticker. And it was like the same person that's like, I hate art prints. Okay, we'll caveat do a sticker. This way you can put it on your fridge. You can put it, you can stick a sticker. You can't just stick an art print. Um, to me, doing the ideas behind that was genius because it's like that's awesome because I collect stickers too, and I have a refrigerator, an old refrigerator that I can put it on and glorify it in its glory. But there again, it was because people are bitching about an art print, but they're flipping the art prints.
Mhm.
They're getting stickers and they can't flip it. Uh,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that just goes back to me going. I can
Well,
go on a tangent about it, and it's just like it
well,
goes
and I
back to you saying you can't please everybody. I understand it, I do, but let's be real. You're paying 35 to 40 to 60 for 60. You're getting 2 autographs. At the end of the day, regardless of the other themes, I get it. It's the fucking autograph.
mhm. Yeah,
Like it's the autograph. Like
yeah. Well, and I
I don't
also
know.
I have the analytics too, though. Like I know that our lapel pins on the market, especially the 2017, 2018, go for like $22 to $52 in the aftermarket. There's
Are we still
value there.
talking shit about art prints? Because I hate those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
um, so you got to look at it when you're curating a box. You have to be able to curate it from a point of, is there a value for the third market, right? Can people buy this and flip it, basically, or
Yeah.
use it as bait, right? Speaking on the comment I see here, I'm a prop lover. I love props too. Audie,
Oh, me
how
too.
many props do you have with the props? Well, dude, like we've tried every company in the world, and it's just
Oh,
it's so hard. We've been burned by prop companies left and right in the
left and
past.
yep. God, hell, I've
It's
even started doing props. And I'm like, JR, I can't large scale, man. I can't do it. And I see the struggle on all the other companies I'd hit up. Hey, send them an email. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And then you hit them with, I need this many. And they're like, ghost, ghost the shit
yeah,
out of me. Don't even talk to me. I was like,
yeah,
okay, I get it. And
yeah.
it,
It's difficult. It really is.
yeah, it's a pain in the ass. And that goes back to, I heard somebody say the other day about, I'm not gonna mention any names. Oh, I love how we buy a box and then it comes to my doorstep 3 days later, and it's like, man, I wish we could do that. We used to do that, but when you large scale so many boxes, you're at 500 boxes and plus. You can't
Mhm.
just have this product and then ship it within the next 3 days. If
Well,
you're producing like 40 boxes, then it's like, okay, I can ship that in the next day. That's
well,
nothing, you know.
that's not an actual mystery box though. There's differences. There's a box that you get that's monthly, consistently, 12 boxes a year, right?
Mhm.
Then there's a box you drop whenever you feel like. And I only really I've seen this before where like sometimes people will drop 40, 50 boxes and it's stuff that they can't sell and it's stuff that they did because they just did bad investments in signings that they overpaid in already. And they're like, we got to get some money back because we got to pay XYZ coming up. That's one form of a mystery box. The other form of a mystery box is you put stuff in there that you've collected for the last couple months that you've never had, and then you push it out,
Yeah.
and those ship out. If you release on a Friday or Saturday, they ship out on a Monday. So there's instant gratification from a consumer. If I order something on a Saturday and it's in my doorstep on Tuesday, hey, that's great. That's awesome. So there's different forms of mystery boxes. I think that's why I respect the people who do the mystery boxes every single month. Like that's a
Yeah.
challenge. The people who drop boxes here and there, and it's just like it's more of a, hey, let me get some of my money back for my bad investments. Because here's the thing that nobody's talked about in the pandemic. Before the pandemic, most Comic Con people were $30 to $40. Now they're 50, 60. If you want pop, 70, 80, 90 is becoming normal.
Yep.
So in reality, that Funko Pop that you were just throwing into a $125 box that you were just like, I got to get my money back because it didn't sell. Most consumers were like, oh, that's, I guess, cool. It's $30 an autograph. Well, now that item is, this same item is $75 now if I want to go to the Comic Con and get it signed. And you put it in a $125 box. You didn't make any money. You're making
Yeah.
money to pay somebody else. You're not actually making profits. There's a difference there. You're
Right.
not selling something and making the actual profit. You're just recouping losses. And then you're
Yep.
taking that money and investing it into another signing. And you're going to probably do that on Black Friday. You're going to put the same stuff you invested your money in the first and second quarter. You're going to put it out on Black Friday. There's nothing new, fresh about it. It's the same celebrity, different product, same shit.
Yep.
There's a difference there, and for us, like that's why I don't do XLs or any of that shit as like I used to, because it's not possible to do it and be fresh. And I don't want to put out anything like that because I don't give a fuck about money. This is fake, by the way. I don't know if this is a fake robe.
Why'd you have to go and ruin it, man? Everybody's sitting here thinking how baller you are, looking like fucking Brony Montana.
We got this cat at a garage sale because I love garage sales for $2, and I had to have it just because I'm not a cat person, but I wanted a badass looking cat. This is probably on Alibaba for like $15, and I got this as a joke. Perception isn't reality. Undertaker's lying. We live in a world where social media allows you to perceive that, hey, this is my life. People only post good stuff in their personal pages on social media.
Oh, I'm 100% guilty of that. Yeah. Like, I fucking hate myself, but I'm always like, look what I bought today. I'm so happy. Yeah. On the inside, I'm fucking dying.
It was an impulse buy.
Just drinking my sorrows away and shit.
Yeah. Gotta put that mandatory photo of me and my wife. We're so happy. Look. Dude.
You could be like those people who share their Facebook profiles with their wife and be like, Joe and Cindy, fucking Australia. Like, which one of y'all cheated?
Yeah, what are y'all fucked up?
Yeah, who fucked who? I want to know.
Yeah, tell me all about it.
I want that podcast, bro. I want a podcast at midnight that I go live in the community and we just talk about whatever. I want to interview just average Joes, right? They're just regular people like us, and just talk about life and about bullshit. Like, I want that. That's what I want, the truth.
The truth,
not the posting the photos of your shoes or your expensive purses.
I've always wanted to be interviewed. I've been interviewed on the radio and through like underground magazines and stuff through music, but it's always the same bullshit. Yeah. Why music? What's your favorite show? Like, I've always wanted to be interviewed like a goddamn therapist or something. So if you start a fucking podcast, I would love to be a guest and you interview the shit out of me. And I'll be 100% honest.
Yeah, I want real shit. Like average Joe, like just life. Good and bad. Let's fucking talk about it. Let's get some opinions. Let's take that trauma out of you. You know what I mean? Like, let's fucking figure this shit out.
And let everybody watch.
Yeah. Fuck it. And if they judge you, fuck them. Because you know what? If they judge
the real one.
Exactly. That's why I don't have any friends. It's just like, you gotta be able to give me some fucking truth. Give me some real. Keep it real with me. Like, don't be like cool and fake about it. Like, just be real. That's all I want. You know what I mean? Because I think that's so valuable if you can really get the truth out. Like,
it is, but also to a certain extent too. It's like some people might think you're being a crybaby. Like, all my brothers and sisters are fucking dead. My dad's dead, and it's like, if I post about that, I miss my brother, then all you get is the sorry for your losses and the shit. Like now it's gotten to the point to where when somebody in my family dies, I'm just like, I don't even make a post because it's like, you're looking for clout. Or you're looking for fucking, I'm sorry for your loss comments. So it's like, I just fucking keep all that shit inside and just post the happy stuff. So I'm sure there are people out there that are like doing it, I don't know, faking it or whatever, fake it till you make it type thing. But that's why I never get real on social media. The only time I ever really get real is with this podcast or if I'm fucking calling Audie like you do on Sundays. Me and him talk almost every day, you know, but yeah. So it's like you kind of want to see people be real, but then at the end of the day, it's like, then you start thinking they sound like a crybaby or whatever. So it's a fucking, a catch-22? Is that like a statement that fucking people use?
There's first of all, everybody say good night to Eric. He's old man.
Good night, Eric. Thanks for watching.
I feel, and Audie and I've
Why can JR see the comments, but I can't? I'm the goddamn co-host. This is bullshit.
I got them on, man.
I use StreamYard too. I use StreamYard for our
well, so do I. I thought that's what this fucking thing was. I'm getting niched out here.
Yeah. I will say
next Friday, JR is going to be live. I won't even know about it. It's going to be Audie and JR. I'm like, what the fuck?
It'll be a fake Versace and Amp.
Yeah.
I think that, what you just explained is probably some of the toxicity in social media. If you think about it, like you just explained that when you're feeling like really, really down and something dramatic is happening in your life, you want to post it, but the flip side to it is that people would be like, "Oh, we got to give them sympathy for now. Oh, it's gonna be fake, right?" Those are the fake people, Darren. Those are the fake people. If you think about it, that's why I have this thing. If you send me a friend request, I will never see your newsfeed. Why? Because I block you. I accept it and I block it. Thank you for supporting Zobie. I appreciate it. But if you and I are having conversations day to day, you're not my friend. I will block you on social media. We're friends, but I will never see what you post. That's literally what I do to everybody on social media because I log into my social media. It's only Zobie Collectors Community and Zobie Productions, not even my family, right? Because if I really cared, I would pick up the phone and call them or text them, "Hey, how you doing, Erica? How you doing, Stevie?"
And
Right?
that's a
That's
two-way street, but so many people treat it as a highway and a fucking bike path. Well, how come I haven't heard from you? It's like, motherfucker, the phone works both ways.
Yeah.
both ways, brother. Both ways. Let's be fucking real. Like, I've just been fucking busy with shit. Take full responsibility. There's my accountability, right? And that's how I kind of treat it. Like, if I post something, I make fun of myself when I make posts on social media. That's what you're gonna get. You're not gonna get me posting shoes or a vacation spot or trying to make it look like I'm something I'm not. I'm just a fucking jabroni that's trying to like build something. Like
you fucking jamoke.
Yeah, just like just that's the real. That's the truth.
Jeremy Saffer says, my news feed is pretty sick, JR. You're missing out. Speaking of Jeremy Saffer, I would love to get him on our podcast. So, Jeremy, if you're still here, please hop on our podcast. I would love to talk to you about your career. He seems
He's
like
so
a very
talented.
fucking rad guy. Dude, it's
He's so
insane. And he gets to hang out with some of my most fucking, people that I love the most. I've never met, obviously, but it's like, what, you fucking hung out with that guy and took his picture?
Yeah.
Jeremy Saffer, please hop on our podcast. He just said he's down anytime, so I will message him later tonight and hit him up. So.
I feel like there's some people that I've met in this industry that are just so talented, and he's one of them. Like, we've dealt with like amazing artists like Max. Like, holy shit, like,
yeah,
dude is phenomenal, right? But
what do you mean? Can I say what I think you're talking about, or no? Is this
Max
for a
Cave?
signing?
No, Max.
Oh,
Cave?
never mind. Shut up, Darren Duncan. Okay.
No. So we have an artist who's overseas who's phenomenal, Max Cave, right?
Yeah.
Extremely talented individual. Jeremy. I've met Corey. I have met people who are super talented. I'm just like kind of envious because I'm just like, I have no talent. Like, I can't draw. I'm not really good at any of this stuff. I suck. Like, I can draw you a badass like stick figure, okay? Like, I'll do the best I can. But you have people who will take a camera and produce this beautiful art. Like Heather over at Bloody Gorgeous, and there's people who have real talent. I think that's probably one of the most enjoyable things from the business, to be honest with you.
Well, what you do is talent as well. Just like you're the idea man. And that shit doesn't come from nowhere. Like your fucking V-Shout thing, for example, was fucking genius, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think
bringing the con to the home, like, that's fucking amazing. I'll probably never meet James David Frank, but I got a goddamn video as if I did of him signing my helmet, and it was super personable. Like, I'm sure you told him how picky, because you could just tell by watching the video that I know that you were telling him how, oh, this guy's fucking picky, man. Make sure you sign it on the visor in white because he's fucking goofy about shit. And he busted my balls. He's like, sorry, it's an invisible ink, fucker. And he was just having fun with it. I'm like, that they don't do that for everybody. I bet that he did it for me, but
yeah,
I think with JR, your talent is, and this ain't me sucking your dick by no means.
But please do.
Your talent is you give people chances. That's a talent within itself, dude. It really is.
The patience and the fucking understanding.
Your talent is you see visions in people, and you give them a chance. And I wish sometimes I could do that. Like, I've been trying to do that with Darren for years, and I don't know why I still can't give the fucker a chance. I can't break that.
What's that supposed to mean?
But JR is on a whole different level
right.
of he sees visions in people and he gives them chances and he provides opportunities. So don't short sell yourself when you don't have any talent, brother, because you do, man. And that's from me looking on the outside. That's not me sucking your balls or anything like that.
Yeah, there's plenty of other opportunities for that.
Yeah, we'll do that later.
I would love that. First of all, but no, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, I see a comment here, Corey. It's like an idea. Like, I think some of the people who influenced me in business are probably not people in autograph world, but just in general in business. I've always seen them as a visionary, like people who are probably not like understood. Like one of the guys that like I absolutely love and adore and try to like see how he thinks is Elon Musk. Like I know some people probably hate that, right? But whatever. I'm
Oh,
just
I like him.
brutally honest. Like I love Elon Musk. I just love the way he thinks. Like he's so he's definitely
I
on
just think it's goofy that he makes his employees do drug tests, but then he goes on Joe Rogan and smoke weed. It's like fuck you for that, but everything else you
Yeah,
do
but
is cool.
but does he really do that though?
No, yeah, I don't know if he drug tests his employees
You
or
know?
not. That was only a meme, and we all know
No,
memes
I
are
I get it.
100% true.
Yeah,
So.
I think legally
I
you do have to do a drug test for in some states in order to provide health insurance. So I'm sure there's some truth to it somewhere there. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to have enforcement. Like if somebody was to go to work and get hurt, you have to drug test them to make sure that
mhm,
they weren't impaired by any chance. So there's things there like legally that like I'm sure there's some truth to something like that, you know,
right.
but it's social media, it's always skewed, right? But
Right.
you know, for me, like I've looked at Elon Musk and the fact like how he's able to have a vision and then get the best talent to carry it out. If you've ever seen him, he's so like real about it. Like he will go to try to find the best talent in the world to carry out a project he wants to be carried out, and he's just a visionary. And I think that to me, that's so awesome. So thank you. I appreciate the comments, audio. I'm just trying to I want to do something that when I go and the post is made, Darren, if when I pass away, that like maybe people maybe I make an impact where like they don't forget me about it. Like they don't forget about me the next day. You know, I know that my family will be missing me. They'll probably be emotional, right? Like you know, if I go, but I want to do something in this business, in this collectible industry that can change it for the positive. And I hope that I'm not easily forgotten. And maybe people will say like, "Hey, he did something to try to improve it," as opposed to, "I want a free box. Look at me. I said shitty things. Watch my video."
Right.
That's not going to be my legacy, right? So
Yeah.
hard work and seeing the vision of the people. I know that it's going to require a team to get there.
Well, you're in the perfect industry to leave that kind of landmark because, like, our average guys are fucking 9 to 5 guys or whatever. When we die, our fucking position's going to be filled on the assembly line before our fucking obituaries printed in the newspaper. You know.
Or on the other side, there could be people who are listening to it and they probably had a really shitty day, a shitty week, and they're listening to you talk about having to pee like a baby bladder and having to go have a smoke break, but you provided
Fuck you. I've had like 11 beers in the past hour and 30 minutes that we've
and
been alive. I heard you, Audie. Oh, that guy pisses more than anybody I know. Yeah, but how many beers have you had since we've been live? But go ahead, JR. I totally interrupted you. I'm sorry, but
no,
I
I'm
just had
just
to get.
saying,
I don't have a baby bladder, you sons of bitches.
yeah, it's a baby bladder attached to a baby arm, right? No, it's like I just think that maybe you're providing something that it maybe let them escape that moment of like having a long week and you
For
providing a
sure.
laughing in general is like it's really easy to do, but sometimes it's really hard to do. And I think that this podcast can provide humor and entertainment. And at the end of the day, we're entertainers. You're an entertainer. Audie's an entertainer. I'm an entertainer when we're on camera, right?
You definitely are an entertainer, and that brings up a great point of Jeremy Saffer's most recent comment. He said, I think you make a massive impact. Most of the companies out there are faceless for the most part. You are a big part of the company and constantly interacting with fans and commenters. People appreciate you more than you know, and you can see it in the comments and fans' reactions. People want your autograph and stickers of you and so forth. So Jeremy
Yeah,
made
no,
a great point on that.
yeah, that's the craziest thing. When you stepped out to go take your 10th pee of the night, we were talking about how Macari somebody bought one of those signed figures that I gave away for free in Christmas for $50, and they were like
Yeah,
owner of me. So like Adam was giving me shit about it because I was like, holy crap, like so yeah, that's always like that's cool. Like we do get requests to have signed business cards, and I always like that to me is like amazing. That's why the fuck would you want my signature on a business card? But that's cool, right? Like somebody can appreciate it. I think that's awesome. But you definitely appreciate when that does happen. So
Yeah, that's Tony. Tony, he's in the community. He sent a soldier pop to me, and he was like, "Dude, can you sign this for me?" And I'm like, as humble as we are, it's like, wow, man, this is really neat.
that's
You
cool.
know,
Yeah.
I never stepped aside and because my house my house is like your house. I don't bring anything army here.
Yeah.
I try to get out of the army mentality. You see this
It's
room.
in the closet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely in the closet, and the uniform's put away until the next day. So that was really cool, and I thanked him for the support and everything. But uh, what little impact you have on someone's life is could be something big, and we don't see it from our foxhole, but it's cool to know that there's people out there that love to listen to this podcast. This podcast is growing. And this is just me and Darren just talking shit to each other. You should see what we really say to each other.
Oh, no. You can pay $5 a month to see that, by the way, on our Patreon. That's when you get the real Darren Duncan the shit. Because like I get not hammered, but I drink beers while we go live on our podcast. But then afterwards, by the fact I'm shit hammered, I'm like, fuck it, we do the extra thing. And so $5 a month, you can see that.
Anybody who's like watching this podcast, you're probably wondering why I'm in a robe. I started an OnlyFans account to afford a Joe Pesci autograph. I was in the middle of shooting my OnlyFans photo shoot. If you can subscribe to my OnlyFans, I have toe photos, I have photos of my chest.
Yeah, those feet are on point.
Yeah, dude. I painted my toenails. I heard that that's like something that people are into. You can buy my used socks too if you want. But yeah, I had to open up an OnlyFans account to make extra money for affording my habits of wanting the Joe Pesci autograph.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm gonna sub to that.
You should.
It's funny, like I can't even understand that Joe Pesci has 8x10 autographs because that's about how tall he is, ain't he? Was that a bad joke? Fuck you guys. I thought it was hysterical.
I don't get it.
He pours himself a beer like, fuck these guys.
I gotta piss.
I need a smoke.
I'll do my own laughter. Fuck it. You guys are dicks.
Oh, shit, man.
That's funny.
So what's up? We've been live an hour and a half. Do you want to go try to fuck your girlfriend again? I mean, your wife again? Or what do you want to do? We totally pod blocked you.
Dude, whatever you guys want. If you're tired of me, I'll jump off. Yeah, I think she fell asleep. She's definitely not going to give it up tonight.
Oh, all right. That's cool. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about or what? I don't know.
I wish I was drinking like you. I mean,
you haven't drank since Halloween. How come? Let's talk about that.
I have like all the whiskey in the world in my bar, but my body just wasn't feeling good, man. I wasn't really taking my physical health, and I was just waking up in pain. I just didn't feel good, and so I stopped drinking. I only drink coffee and water. I don't have any sodas whatsoever. My diet's been cleaned up. I've lost 10 pounds. I feel better. My dick actually stays hard. That's great.
Unlike Audie's that we've heard. Or no, wait, it was quite the opposite, I think.
No, I feel better, and I just kind of don't feel like drinking, to be honest with you. So
if you can cut out alcohol, that's great, because alcohol can be a big problem in your life for many, many different reasons. Health, mentally, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, I have anxiety and depression. It's like, well, fucking stop drinking every day, dumbass, like fucking
mental health.
Yeah, dude, 100%. And like, I mean, you can have back pain over stress. You can get cancer over fucking stress.
Mm-hmm.
And so imagine all the fucking problems alcohol probably causes to people,
Hey, Audie, remember our panic attacks?
Yeah.
Anxiety is a motherfucker, dude.
Yeah. Elaborate a little bit. What do you mean? Because I've had plenty of those. I deal with that. It sucks. See, there's another reason why I don't talk about mental health, because so many people kind of use. I think some use it as like a clout thing, or an excuse to get out of doing shit. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, I didn't fucking pick up the phone. I was having anxiety or whatever. And I fucking get that. I don't answer my door. I don't answer my phone. I've gone days without getting my mail because of the big fucking scary sun in the sky. You know what I mean? I get it, dude. But I think a lot of people use it to be edgelords, or they use it to be just fucking, they think they're unique, but they're not, because we're all fucking mentally ill in America. I mean, it's like antidepressants and guns, man. This is America. We all fucking have them. You're not cool. But so many people use anxiety and depression as like this cool thing to have, Like, does that make sense? The way I'm like, you know what I mean?
No,
Like,
it
people
does.
think they're cool for cutting themselves, and it's like, that's not cool. Like, I'm sorry that you're going through that, and that sucks. Like, I wish I didn't do that either. Like, but to put it out there like it's fucking cool, and to compare with like, oh, I wear a Manson shirt, so I have to cut myself. Like, there's people who don't have mental issues, but they pretend to be crazy. I've been going my whole life trying to pretend that I'm fucking normal. So I get upset when people use the shit for clout. And that's another reason why I don't post on social media about panic
Yep.
attacks and
Yeah.
depression and things
I
like
just
that.
I just call one of y'all, text or call.
100%.
You
I
know,
call you all the fucking time, dude.
yeah, I'm just
I'm
like
like, dude, you know?
yeah, I gotta call somebody and just get it off my chest, you know.
I think I try to practice as much empathy as possible and trying to relate to people because um, perception isn't reality. I think it gets really dark for me. Mental health to me is something I've battled with since I was 8 years old. I've seen counselors all my life. I'm a product of antidepressants. I have very severe ADHD. You know, coming from a broken home, but I don't talk about it a lot openly, right? Audie knows about it, right? But I think for the people who make those posts and they want to, get a response, I think they want help. They need help. That's their
It could be
cry.
like that cry for help. That's that
Yeah,
cut on your fucking arm that you wear
right,
to school. Yeah,
right.
I get it.
I think that I try to practice empathy because I don't know everybody's background, right? And if I can be vulnerable and be real with you guys and tell you, like, hey, dude, mental health for me is like, I mean, this is how much I believe in it. Like June, we're taking a mandatory week off. It's a really important for me. I have had people try to use it to take advantage of me. Audie's aware of that,
Oh, absolutely, I see it.
and I had an experience like that in the last 6 months. I had somebody who was trying to they knew of my mental health and they tried to use it as a way to get more out of me, financially and everything. And I think that as I got older, I started to realize that there's people who have real mental health issues, right? And I want to be able to like talk about it as, I guess I'm a public I'm the public side of Zobie. Like people probably see like, oh, this guy seems really busy and successful, and probably thinks everything's like all awesome and rosy. Yeah, no, that's not true. You know, that's perception. That's not reality. Mental health to me is something I've battled my whole life, and I don't want to drink too because I don't want to have a bad day. It triggers me to have an episode, right? I try not to consume any type of medication because it will trigger me to have a bad, roller coaster ride straight to the ground. So I try to. When I have moments like that, I've called Audie on Sundays where I'm like, dude, my anxiety, I'm about to have a heart attack. I just feel like I'm on the edge. I went a little too far the edge this week. And he just tries to calm me down. Obviously my rock too is my wife. You know, my wife is, you wouldn't have Zobie if it wasn't for my wife. My wife has to rebuild me every single day, emotionally, physically, mentally. You know, I have moments. I had a moment 3 weeks ago where I called her crying on the way home. I was done. I was so done with it. Nothing was going right. No deal was happening. The sales weren't right. I couldn't be creative. I felt like I was not being a good visionary. I wasn't being a good leader. I was done. I was like, I don't want to do this shit, you know? And I have that every other month. Like, it's not something that just like randomly I have it all the time. It's a constant battle with myself, you know? And so it's something that's very serious. And I wish men in general could like talk about it and not be this machismo of like, it's not true. I don't deal with it. Like, no, dude, like, let's be real. Like, we all deal with it. All three of us here deal with it, you know? And it's something that I have to battle every single day. So I don't openly talk about it in my personal page. I guess part of the fear is that, Darren, what you said, I don't want people to feel sympathy for me, but if I can talk about it and somebody can relate to it and we can make that day a little bit better, then you made a change for the positive.
Yeah, I think that like medicine is just as important, or I mean, like support is like a really big thing. Like, you're not responsible for having mental health issues, but you are responsible for your own recovery. And don't fucking take advice. I mean, advice from friends is cool, but I wouldn't seek advice. I would seek support. Like what you do when you call Audie on Sundays or when I call him or whatever. Like, support is where it's at. And but you know, mental health and prescriptions and things, that's 100% important too. And nobody can make that move or that step but you have to make that decision. And just know that you're not, you know, people aren't fucked up and they're fucking screwed. You're not, it's not your fault that you have mental issues, but you are responsible for your own recovery, and no one can do that but you know. So you just got to make that first step and just admit it. You know, like, I got fucking issues, go see a professional. Don't fucking take Facebook advice. Don't post about, you know, like, and I didn't mean to sound apathetic earlier about all these fucking goth kids with their fucking bullshit. That's not what I meant. I'm just saying, like, fucking, just, you got to take responsibility of your mental health and fucking tackle it, man. And but support is very important, man. It truly is. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Y'all know my number.
No, absolutely.
sure.
And
But
that's
again, don't take advice from people who don't know what you're dealing with, and don't necessarily take advice from people who do know what you're dealing with. Like, professional help I would seek, because
absolutely.
somebody else, they could tell you something and it might trigger you. Oh, this is what I do when I have anxiety. I jerk off and smoke a bong, you know. And it's like, well, that might not work for you, you know. You gotta
Well,
you gotta talk to a professional, because
I
I've
think,
literally been told that. What do you do
yeah,
when you have a panic attack? Well, I jerk off. I've been told that from friends. I either fucking rip a bong or I start stroking it. And I'm like, well, I'm at Walmart, motherfucker. Like,
yeah.
you know,
I also like, I think that if you're having an episode, you should seek professional help, but you should also, um, I think in those moments, in those vulnerable moments, you might also find out like who's really like there to support you, right?
100%. Yes.
100% support, who will not judge you, who will love you and be there for you no matter what. And I think that that's super important too as you get older. Like sometimes people like want to overshare, like we talk about social media, they want to overshare because they want to be accepted. They want the help, and that's their way of doing it. But you know, I think I learned that in business, and it's probably been a big driving force for me. Is that not everybody wants to see you succeed. They say it, nobody really wants to see you succeed. Like I remember, like I was like all about Audi trying to do like 3D, like props and like printing and stuff. And I feel like yes, go for it. Like achieve something, be creative. Like create something. Like you have that. So like you want to see people succeed. And I think sometimes people like you have people around you who they say that, but they really don't want you to succeed. They're the ones that talk shit about you behind your back, and or relative. You might have a family relative that does that to you, and those are the people you don't want around you that are giving you any type of
Right. And
advice.
it's hard to figure out who those people are sometimes when they're so quiet about it. And like, you may not realize this, but everything's a goddamn competition.
Yeah,
It's all a pissing contest. And
Yeah.
it's I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to deal with, especially like doing what you do, doing what we do, being in bands or whatever, or even just trying to draw or anything. Like, no, everyone wants to act like they're your fucking friend and support you, but then,
Yeah.
like, when's the last time they bought a shirt or a box or
Yeah.
donated to your Patreon or whatever? Because
most
they want to do the same thing. They want to start a mystery box. They want to start a podcast. They want to start a band.
Yeah.
You know,
most of my family doesn't know what I do for a living.
they probably think you're selling dope.
Yeah,
So
my
like,
neighbors definitely think I'm a drug
he's
dealer.
got trucks coming to his house every fucking week.
I seen him on Facebook in a robe.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
King Don Juan.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely like that, Darren. I think people, it's a competition, and it's kind of sad if you think about it that that's what our life is like. Like at this point, it's like that's what your life is like. It's a competition, and like who can be better or better looking or more successful. And it's like that's not life. It's not life.
No, it's not.
God, man. Like like the only people who are really affected if something bad was to happen to all three of us is like the people in that house. The people
Right.
in your house, the people in Audie's house, the people in my, those are the people who are really affected. So
Yeah.
I think life is just.
If you died tomorrow, how many people would wake up the next day and just not know how to fucking function?
Yeah.
Like, I can't go on another day without this person. All that fucking social media shit it's all fake. It's all bullshit. It's not real.
All
You
fake.
know?
All
Yeah,
fake.
dude. And like, it took me a long time to learn that, dude. I'm always seeking fucking just appreciation. Look at me, look what I did. And I'm slowly starting to realize, like, no, this all goes on within 8 walls. The 4 walls of my house and the 4 walls of my skull. Those are the only 8 walls that I give a fuck about. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying?
Facts. That's that 100%. I truly believe that. Like, and Audie and I have had those conversations where like he would have to talk me off the ledge sometimes, and it's like the reality is if you know what is love and what makes you happy in that house right there, that like, that has to be 100% for you to be
Right.
better outside those four walls. And if
Yeah.
you can't take care of these four walls and those four walls, then you fall apart, and that's the reality of it,
Right.
right?
You could be broke and be successful. You know what I'm
100%.
saying?
Yeah. You know how many people I know that had multi-million-dollar homes and businesses, and now they don't have any of that, and I see it.
Right.
I know really successful people, like people who like don't have to work and they're miserable. Like
Well,
literally,
yeah. I mean, there's people who've killed themselves. Look at fucking Chester Bennington, Kurt Cobain. Well,
Alan,
well, Courtney Love killed him, but anyway, that's beside the point. But like, think about how many fucking people who you're like, man, this guy's got it all, and they commit suicide because they're not taking care of all 8 walls. You know what I mean?
Chester's and Chris's death really affected me. Actually, I think Chester's music got me through a lot of stuff personally. Me, Linkin Park was somebody I always listen to. I think that when I'm in my bed and I'm dying, I hope they're playing in the end. I feel like Chester's music got me through a lot. You know, a lot of really hardcore shit for myself.
Do you
So
believe in that conspiracy theory of Chester Bennington and uh, Chris Cordell? That's his name, right? I feel like a piece of shit right now. I'm buzzed up. Chris Cornell. I said Cordell. Chris Cornell. How dare me? Have you heard the conspiracy theory of them getting suicided because they were gonna bring out this fucking pedophile ring? Have you heard about that?
I've never heard that.
Oh, that's right. You don't follow anybody on social media. There's fucking this fucking thing. No, seriously, like there's like this conspiracy theory that Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington were like on the verge of like busting out all these pedophiles in the music industry or whatever. And they didn't commit suicide. They were in fact murdered. And it's like, I don't fucking, conspiracy theories are
Yeah.
conspiracy theories. They're crazy, but that is actually one. But
I've never.
it is so weird how close they were. And they were both doing like this pedophile thing. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I think it was just coincidence. The homeboy got sad. Didn't Chester kill himself the same day on the anniversary that Chris Cornell killed himself?
I'm not sure. Man, I probably sound terrible with this, but like I remember when it happened, and like that was a rough day for me, just because I instantly thought of all these little moments where I remember listening to the music, and it was really helping me off the ledge myself. So, but I don't know specifics, or I've never even heard of that. To be honest, Audie, have you heard of that? Like,
No, that's the first time I heard it.
I've
Yeah.
definitely heard of it, but like when Chester, I wasn't the largest Linkin Park fan. But I was upset the day he died too because of the fact it was suicide. Because to this day, I don't know if my brother was a suicide or it was an accident. So when I see the social media comments of like, like suicide's the coward way out, and like people arguing this back and forth, like that shit kind of pisses me off, or it's cowardice, or it's selfish, and that shit makes me mad because the only people who can tell that story of how they felt if they were being a coward taking the easy way out or if they were taking the selfish way out are the people who can't defend themselves anymore. They can't talk about it. So that's why I got so defensive over Chester Bennington's suicide and pretty much any suicide. I hate when people call them cowards or take an easy way out because you don't fucking know, man.
Yeah, but that's also like social media being like, "Oh, I'm a man, I'm strong."
Yeah.
You fucking deal with your bullshit and shut the fuck up and go to work tomorrow and
Yeah,
come
and
home and I get it, dude.
like
I
that.
know.
Not everybody's DNA is like that. I'm very cold when it comes to business, but then I'm an emotional creature just as a human, right? Audie's seen that probably most people, like my wife, Audie, and maybe one or two other people in my life have like seen when I'm really broken or I'm being real. Honestly, I think there's days that you just don't want to feel, like you just don't want to like. I look at pain as sometimes I have to do something just to feel pain, just to feel alive. I know it sounds really weird and it's something that probably people can't wrap their heads around, but sometimes you just don't want to feel. You just don't want to feel it.
Yeah.
You just don't want to feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like you want to feel some pain. Sometimes I just do stuff that for adrenaline just to make me feel alive. I don't know how to explain it. Like I just want to feel alive. I want to break that normal routine in my head, and for me that's just how I'm built. Like I like pain. I laugh at pain. It's the truth. Like I laugh. I enjoy it. I don't know how to explain it. It lets me.
I can tell you what I used to do. It might help you maybe. It's like self mutilation's fucked up, and you don't want to walk around carrying scars and having your kids asking you what happened to your fucking forearm. But I don't even know if I should give this advice, but I'm gonna anyways. One thing you can do is put rubber bands around your wrist.
Mm,
Bah!
yeah.
And it
Yep.
fucking stings and it hurts, but it don't leave marks, and you're just doing what you got to do. But I still suggest telling the doctor about it because he might
Yeah.
have an opinion on it. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, don't be fucking jamming, don't be making bracelets out of thumbtacks like I did in fucking 8th grade, walking around the school with fucking thumbtacks in my wrist because I thought I was the shit. But I
Yeah.
did it for many reasons, to look tough and to be like edge lord, and because I fucking love the pain.
Yeah.
It's
I
such a crazy topic, man. I can't believe we're on this, but I don't mind it one bit, and I hope you guys don't either.
No, I don't. I tend to use my nails to push into my like bones to feel that pain when I'm having a moment of anxiety and to bring me back down to earth. Like I tend to like usually people when I feel uncomfortable, I have this thing. It's a telltale. It's like how everybody has like their poker move that they figure out. Like I start rubbing the back of my head. It's like when I'm like starting to feel uncomfortable. It's like something I go to. Like Adam called it out one time, and Josh called it out one time, and Jen's called it out before. But when I get nervous, like I tend to push down on my bones to feel pain. It kind of gives me a little boost of like, oh, it's real, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like make my brain think about the pain as opposed to in the moment. And that's just one of my quirks that I do. It's so it doesn't leave any scars because it's not like it hasn't been to that point, but it does zap me back into that in that moment. So
Yeah, I'm double jointed in my hands, so I fuck with my hands a lot, or I'll pop my thumbs out or slide my tendons. Have you ever heard of tapping? Like when you're having anxiety, you like tap your chin or tap your forehead or like take your wrist and just tap it because it kind of brings you back to grounding you. Like, this is real, I'm flesh and bone, and
yeah,
just focus on the tapping. And
yes,
like that's helped me a lot, especially the chin and the forehead. Just
that's the
light taps. It's so
yeah,
fucking strange. I'd
that's the,
rather do that than take a pill and then be like, for
yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like fuck.
Well, that's the first time I've heard of the tapping, but my wife and I try breathing exercises. Like we're big supporters of the Calm app. We use the Calm app a lot. It helps me as well because my anxiety is like hardcore when it's on an airplane or I'm traveling. I think it's just because I'm being out of my comfort zone. I don't like traveling. It's not something that I enjoy. I If it was up to me and I had all the money in the world, I'd probably just spend all my time with my daughters and wife at home. I wouldn't
Right.
go out. But I do try breathing techniques. That does help me. So if you're listening to this and you haven't tried it, highly recommend go to the Apple or iOS Android store, download the Calm app. There's a couple exercises in there where breathing is really, really powerful, and it kind of brings you back to in that moment. I think that's really helped too. So,
The breathing never worked for me because I have severe adult ADHD. So
mm,
I can't focus on one thing. I just can't. So if I'm trying to fucking focus on my breathing, I start thinking about dumb shit, and then that'll increase my anxiety.
yeah,
So it's so strange, man. And I hate the fact that they want to throw pills at everything. Take 2 pills for this, take a pill for that. I assume that a lot of it's necessary, some of it's necessary. It's fucking hard,
mm,
but me personally, yeah, the breathing thing never worked. It was always like it fucking freaks me out, dude. It's
yeah, yeah.
weird.
What do you do, Audie?
I've
Guess what?
learned
I'm gonna go piss again. You guys talk about what Audie does. I'll be right back.
I've doing the whole 3D printing thing has relieved a lot of the anxiety, and I've noticed painting
Mhm.
and that's so like that's whatever. Oh, just go paint. If you have anxiety, just go paint. And I've always just thought, I was like, I couldn't stay still long enough to paint something so tedious. But uh, the other day when I was painting these thing figures, uh, I got lost in the moment. It was like 2 in the morning, and I had to work the next day. But I was so into it, and I was so calm, just in my own little world. I look up, and I'm like, oh shit, it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Mhm.
Like, did I forget the world around me that long? And I felt great. And I actually went to bed. It was like 2:15. I got up about 5:30, and it felt like I had slept
Yeah,
like 10 hours. I
yeah.
was like, that's the weirdest thing. And it was because I was uh in the moment relaxed. I wasn't, my brain wasn't bouncing all over the place, and I found my niche is in the paint. Now, maybe it was just like the moons aligned and everything was just right, and it just fell into place. I don't think I can paint the minute I start feeling it, because I feel like I would be already too overwhelmed by it. I wouldn't be able to concentrate anyway. But yeah, it definitely soothed um myself. Before that, with just anxiety, it was I step away from where I'm at in the moment, from walking outside to just separating myself from that time that I feel like something's going to overwhelm me. I just walk away. I'm just like and that's how I deal with it. I don't have a pain or a tap. I'll like fidget my hands like this, but I don't have a pain compliance to the anxiety. I think it's more I'm gonna walk away from something opposed to just letting me in it. That's the way I've dealt with it.
I, I,
But
I think I think everybody has their like way of being able to cope with it, and whatever that is just finding it. And if you need professional help, reach out, get professional
oh,
help.
absolutely, yeah. It's
Don't be ashamed, don't be scared. There's, I mean, we all need it. We're all human. I wish the conversation about mental health was really something that was more promoted. To be quite honest with you,
yeah.
I see in the comments, like I see comments here. Like I know I do the live auctions on Facebook and I use StreamYard, but you guys see comments like, what are you live on? Like what?
So this is weird because I iPad, and on my page I see comments, but it's not here. And if they comment from YouTube, which I see Corey has, it'll give me a YouTube symbol, but then I can't see Darren's comments, but I'll see mine. So they all come in, and usually after these streams, I have to sometimes go back and look. Because for an example, CJ or Ruby Graham commented earlier, I'm assuming into the podcast, and from her comments, it looks like she was talking about Sid Haig. So I missed those. So it's kind of hard sometimes to catch everybody's comments. So what you see on your side, I probably don't see either.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, why can't we have a software that allows us to like see all of the different social medias and comments and view it?
And I have it. I have like 8 different things this is blasting, and I have to use 2 devices, and Darren has to use his phone. And
Yeah,
I pay fucking $50 for that shit. You think they'd have their shit together?
yeah, it's
You
so
know?
crazy to me, like how we have no integration whatsoever. I think tech is like makes the world easier, but there's certain situations where you're just not able to have like
Yeah.
all the engagement in one dashboard. It's like,
Yeah,
come on.
the internet's like being extremely handsome. It's a blessing and a curse,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Us
dude.
three, us three know all about that.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
I kind of want to ask you guys a couple questions if it's cool.
Come with
Sure.
it, man. Please do.
So, how many episodes are you in already?
Oh fuck.
This
17,
is
18?
17. This is 17.
Is
Has
it?
your viewership's gone up to the right since you started?
It so it was probably about episodes 8, 9, we saw an increase because I think we were getting the algorithms and the SEOs out there. I was doing the hashtag thing, just trying to
Yeah.
get us onto Google.
At first, you
Uh,
couldn't even Google us and nothing would pop up. And within a month or so, you Google us and we're like the first thing now. So
yeah, so and Google's a hit and miss, but I'll see like random companies I never heard of sharing our stuff. It's weird, and it does it to Zobie too. Like
Oh yeah, yeah,
some
yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, well, I guess that's kind of cool. Like I click it, they're not stealing anything. They're just going up under their
Have you
search.
taken clippings of certain things and used them on TikTok?
no,
No.
Yeah,
We
I
went
don't.
live on
I don't.
TikTok.
I don't even think we know how to do that.
yeah. I think you can download the video from the dashboard here once you're done. It usually takes about 45 minutes. You can download the whole thing and then clip it.
Yeah.
You know how to
I
do
know
it.
how to do it.
What?
Yeah,
Just
and
like a funny part, like a fucking 2
yeah,
minute segment or
or
something.
like just like men's mental health, right? Like you can cut it up and put it on TikTok. When you have 2 hours of footage, this would allow you to reach a whole different audience that would tune in next week, right? And so
That's a great
one of
idea.
the things that we're trying to learn right now is how to utilize TikTok with Zobie, right? And we have Ray, which is a blessing because he's a media specialist. He comes
Yeah,
in.
he's good. That
He
guy's
shoots
fucking
all this
phenomenal.
week episodes that we do and all the content and creates gifts and everything for us. It's such a powerful tool to use where you can have outreach because and Audie knows this, every consumer we try to get through an ad, yes, you want to convert them into buying something, but you just want them to give you your text, your phone number to text them or email and potentially buy something in the future. You want to build that connection first. I think you guys have some great content that you guys can share on TikTok, and that fan base tends to be between 13 years old to like 27, which is the audience you probably should be attracting, to be quite honest with you, for this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely something I've thought about, but dealing with everything else, just trying to get this on the other platforms. It's something I put on the wayside, but it's you're right. I probably should do some clips and just start pumping it. Getting the SEOs and the algorithms and all that up.
Jeremy Saffer, our next official, unofficial guest, says TikTok is the one social media thing everyone over 25 is trying to figure out and get in on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why
100% right.
I'm just looking at this and looking at what the topics we've discussed. And I think that the future of social media is engagement with the consumer in the comment section, right? For them to see a hashtag, click on the video, they might like it, bookmark it, and come back to it. It's your job to be able to provide quality content for them to want to give a fuck. You have to give them a reason to give a fuck. And I think that's the challenge in any small business, right? You can spam them all you want with everything every 5 minutes and put up with all the successful things. But if you're real and you try to give them like actual content that they can help, I think that would go a long way.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely something to take into consideration. And maybe what we can do, us three later on, we'll do a topic on men's mental health. I think us three we could definitely educate just by off our experiences, not so much professional advice. But I think there's something that we could probably uh, offer to
Yeah.
people because going back to it real quick, as men, we're not allowed to uh, show weakness,
Mm-hmm.
and we carry that with us since honestly I was instilled at a young age. Hey, suck it up, don't worry about it, brush it off. Those little things like that. As you get older, you're so desensitized to things. It's like someone who is in tune is like, man, that guy's really fucked up. He shows no emotion. And I'm gonna be honest with you, with some of the things I've done in the army, I'm so desensitized and weathered to some things that would probably make the normal person fucking cry and they would see a significant event that would scar them for years in life. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
whatever. you
Yeah.
know. Um
I think we do it ourselves on accident too, as males. Because like when my fucking son falls off his bike, I'm like, "Get up, boy! That didn't hurt."
yeah, because you're
And
so
it's like I don't mean to be like, man,
no.
it's so crazy to think about right now. Like, am I
I
conditioning my son to be a fucking asshole the rest
Yep.
of his life by being a
I
tough guy?
I do it to my son too, bro.
Yeah,
And
get up,
and
man.
just
That didn't hurt. And I mean, we know our kids. Like when your kid was here and he'd cry, and you were like, "Oh, that's the fake one." But like the one time he got really hurt,
oh
and you're
yeah,
like,
I could tell the
Yup,
tone.
he got hurt," and we got up and we went outside.
Yeah.
And like we know our fucking kids, but I'm guilty as fuck of that. Even with my
Yeah.
daughter, I'm like, that shit didn't hurt. Do it again because she wants to be a skateboarder, and she got a skateboard for her birthday, and she's fucking constantly falling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that shit is going to happen. If you want to be a
Right.
skateboarder, you are going to get hurt.
Yeah.
But you can't be scared of that skateboard. You got to pretend it didn't hurt, and you got to do that fucking kickflip again.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to
It
get good.
it's not so
One more
much
thing,
being
real quick. We're going to bring Jeremy Saffer on. Surprise! We have a fourth guest. I asked Jeremy if he wants to hop on live with us for the next 20 minutes, and we'll fucking end it at 2.5 hours in, or we'll go for as long as you guys want.
I don't care.
Jeremy's gonna send me his email. Audie, I'm gonna forward this to you right now. Can you send him this exact
You
link? Bring him
just
in.
I
forward
hope.
the link. Just forward the link I sent you.
I can't because I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay.
I think he comes on with a robe, or maybe he's not even wearing a shirt. That'd be great. We could keep it going.
Hasn't he got like long black hair?
Yeah, he does. He has luscious
Yeah.
long
It's
black
gonna be
hair.
like majestically. He's gonna come on here and steal a show. Like
I hope that'd be dope. Actually,
what's that dude's name? Typo Negative's lead singer.
Yeah, fuck, Peter
fuck.
Steele.
Yeah, yeah, Steele. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he had a long, thick one from what I've heard.
It
I
was
think
on
he
Howard
did a
Stern.
Playgirl.
That dude was like baby
I,
on.
I never
What?
listened to. We're talking about penises, Jr.
Yeah, well,
I
dude,
heard.
thought you were talking about your hair. How did you get to that?
Adult ADHD maybe is how
I
we
don't
got
know.
to that.
Did ADHD just happen? Because I don't know.
Dude, did you know?
Oh yeah, he's got a big cock. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, bro. Straight up, Jr. You probably don't know this, but our original title for this podcast was going to be called ADHD. It was going to be called Aaron. God damn it, too many beers in me. It was going to be called Audie and Darren's Heckling Disasters. It was going to be called ADHD, but when we started Googling ADHD and we were coming up with promo pics and things like that, we were just non-existent. We were nowhere.
There was so much.
Yeah, and I'm like, if anybody wants to, if you want to wear a shirt that says ADHD, they're going to be like, "Oh, that's cool, I get it." Or you're fucking, being a jerk off by making fun of mental illness or whatever. But if you try to Google us, you'd never fucking find it. So then, like the last minute, we decided on Don't Blame Us because we have strong opinions on things, and we're like, at the end of the day, just because O.J. Simpson fucking murdered people and got away with it, don't blame us. We didn't do it.
Yeah, he did that.
Damn,
shit.
I squeezed OJ into the fucking episode again, baby.
He did that shit.
OJ did that shit.
Damn, dude.
So yeah, JR, if you don't buy this shirt, which I totally think you should, I'll tell you what, I'll trade you a shirt for a box because I'm a YouTuber. I don't know if you know this. I'll trade you a shirt and a
don't
box.
send him art prints. Send him all the art prints.
Yeah, and then so send me a box for free. I'll send you a shirt for free. And then what the fuck was I gonna say? I was gonna say something else. Oh, yeah, I totally fucking forgot.
Don't Blame Us. I think that's so catchy. I think that's a great name. I think you guys hit it out of the park. I think there's a lot of like brand ability there too, so you can scale that.
That's great. And like you could wear a T-shirt that says "Don't blame us," and it's like an open statement, like "Don't blame us, I voted for this guy," or "Don't blame us, I fucking recycle." You know what I mean? Like it could mean anything, but we had to put podcast on the bottom of it just to fucking be sure,
just to make sure, because I didn't want some like white kid getting beat up somewhere. You know what I mean?
He's wearing red and black on the wrong side of the neighborhood. That shit would happen where I live.
Yeah.
Josh Height, is that his name? One of your employees. He has this baseball. I'm not a sports guy. I don't know, but there's like a team that he roots for that has this upside down pitchfork on his forehead, and I'm like, "You've never got your ass kicked wearing that?" And he's like, "No, why?" Thinking it was a sports comment, and I'm like, "Dude, where I'm from, gangster disciples are like a fucking thing, and their gang symbol is a fucking pitchfork." And I'm like, you walk around, and I'm not trying to sound like a fucking cool guy or anything. I'm not, but I'm just saying, like, the city that I'm around or whatever, like, if you wore that shit, you'd probably get shot coming out of a Walgreens and not even understand, like, why are they shooting me? Why am I bleeding? And it's like, because you got a fucking upside down pitchfork. It's fucking insane. But yeah,
it's Houston, bro. Like, honestly, like, I'm not joking when I said I literally saw somebody, like, a raid happening, and then I saw a hit and run the next day. People here they don't fuck with you unless you want to be fucked with, and people are so consumed with like what they're doing, they just don't fuck with you here. So yeah, he probably doesn't even know. He didn't know that for sure, I guarantee you.
No, yeah, and I wasn't being a jerk off about it. I was genuinely curious. I'm like, you've never got your ass kicked wearing that? And he probably thought it was a sports thing. And I'm like, no, man, where I'm live, they'll fucking kill you. Like, it's fucked up. But he's like, I don't fucking know. It's just a baseball team. And I totally get it. And I'm glad there's places in the country you can go and wear shit like that.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, if you wear red and black, you'll probably get beat up, dude. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, no, for us, like, in Houston, it's definitely diverse cultures. And most people don't fuck with you unless you're asking for it, to be quite honest. Plus, it's Texas, right. Everybody carries. So it's kind of like.
I love Texas.
Yeah.
Texas is amazing.
You don't fuck with just anybody. Trust me. They're gonna open up a glove compartment. Run. So
pop the trunk, as they say.
Yeah, dude. They pop that.
Pull up.
Yeah, don't pull up, man.
Don't pull up.
They'll give you the smoke in Texas.
Catch you at the red light.
Yeah, you want to act big and bad. Okay.
Dude, that's why. Like, my truck is so goofy. Like, I got flames on it and skulls on it. Like, everybody knows. Like, that's my truck. So. That's why I keep. Why do you have the same truck for 20 years? It's because I don't want to get mistaken for somebody else at a red light. Oh, there he is in that fucking red pickup like, let's get him, and they find out it's the wrong guy. But like like, oh no, that ain't him. He don't got skulls on his fucking truck. You know what I mean? So
Yes, trucks in this conversation.
I gotta have a one of a kind vehicle, man, because
Yeah.
if somebody's gonna kill me, I'm gonna give them a good goddamn reason for it, and they better know it's fucking me and not just some other random dude. You know what I mean?
I just put a lift kit and rims in my truck, and I'm so happy with the way it looks.
It looks good, man.
Yeah, I customized it. I'm so happy with the way that project was.
I bet the engine of my truck could fit in the tread tire of both of your guys' trucks. I got this 2000 white Dakota, but my dad left it to me when he died, so it's like I'm gonna drive it into the ground. Fuck it.
Well, you know what makes your truck so good though, Darren?
What?
It's paid for.
It's paid for, and the gas mileage is insane. I get like 17 miles to the gallon. Plus, I don't go anywhere because I have fucking anxiety high to the sky. So like, I don't fucking leave the house. So I was like, fuck.
Dude,
I put $20 on my gas tank, and that shit'll last 2 months because I don't go nowhere.
Well, and isn't it crazy though? Like in your 20s, you're trying to go to the clubs and trying to go all this stuff, and then you get older and you don't go out. What's up?
Yeah.
Man?
Right. Yeah. Let me hear your fucking metal scream, Jeremy. What's up, dude?
What's up, dude? How's it going?
Good. I'm glad to see you on here, man. How are you?
Good. Just living. Stoked to see you guys. I was just editing photos and had you guys on. I was like, oh, this is perfect to watch. Awesome.
Yeah. So this isn't our official episode with you, but can we please do an official episode with you where you're the fucking main guy?
Absolutely.
I would love to do that. All right, we'll set it up.
Anytime,
when we get off here, I'll message you and we'll figure out a date.
So,
Sounds good.
But since we got you and JR on here, I'm really curious on how you two met because I know JR did the Zobie metal box and everything. How did you become involved in that?
So, as you know, I'm a music photographer, but I'm also a collector. So I'm also, collecting horror stuff, movie stuff, buying stuff from Zobie. And actually, the way I got connected to Zobie is actually a funny story. I bought a Chevy Chase pop. It came in damaged, and I emailed and I'm like, hey, this came damaged. Is there anything you can do? And also, I work in the music industry, and I work with a lot of horror celebrities and bands, and I'm always with them doing autograph stuff. Would you ever want to do something like a metal box? And Adam was who I was talking to. He's immediately like, dude, you need to talk to JR. He might be into this. And I think like right after that, we spoke, and he was into the idea, and it just developed from there.
Yeah. So you started as a customer then?
Well, absolutely. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
And it was something that like arrived damaged or there was something wrong. So like it's kind of, if you look at it, he was reaching out and he was like, hey, this isn't right? There's a product that's wrong. By the way, let's talk about something really cool and creative. It's a very unique situation if you think about it. Most people are like, fuck you, shit's damaged, fix this now.
I was going to say, he could have went straight to YouTube and been like, Zobie fucking sucks. I want my money back. Yeah. No,
I'm not that guy.
Right. So, how well do you know Brandon Chipetti, man? Is that how you say his last name? Is it Chipetti or Chipatti? I think it's
Chipetti. Yeah, I've known Shep for many, many years. We toured together a couple times, and yeah, I've been doing Bleeding Through's photos since 2004. So I did the photos in some of their albums. I did their photos for their DVD. Yeah, I've done lots and lots of work with the dudes in that band and the dudes who are no longer in that band.
Right. We had them scheduled like 4 times, and it keeps getting like rescheduled. And for a second there, I started to think, I'm like, am I getting catfished by somebody on Instagram? But he's got the little blue mark next to his name, so I'm sure it's him 100%. And
he's good people.
Dude, he's man, like I don't know him as well as you, obviously, but like what's cool about it, what I told Audie is like, I now have the phone number of my favorite singer of all time because he texted me and apologized, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is amazing. So we'll do it. He'll be on tomorrow night, and I can't fucking wait because that guy is just, he's so fucking good at what he does, man.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I love
good person too.
What kind of music are you into for the most part? Is it only metal, or do you like all kinds of other shit?
I mean, I like a little bit of everything except for like country, but
everybody says metal. That, especially metalheads.
Yeah, because country's just so bad.
Well, you probably like outlaw country, right? Like your Johnny Cash's and your Hank Williams, and do you like the outlaw stuff at least, or do you just hate all?
No, not like
I can. Fuck country. That shit sucks.
You know what? I think newer Johnny Cash is better than old Johnny Cash. Like as his voice got older, as he got more like kind of pained and had that kind of more character to his voice, it got better. like those covers he was doing towards the end, the American recordings that he did with Rick
Rick
Rubin.
Rubin, yeah.
Amazing.
I think Rick Rubin
But
could probably do no wrong. Like, I mean, he'll fucking produce Jay-Z's album, and everyone's like, "Who's this crazy guy with the long hair and beard?" And it's like, motherfucker, you don't understand. He is the music man, you know.
Yes.
So he did Beastie Boys and all kinds of shit. Like Rick Rubin can do no wrong.
He's a
oh yeah.
music genius. Absolutely.
Mhm.
What kind of
100%.
shit do you listen to, Jr? I'll tell you right now, I'm a sucker for a good pop song. I love
Yeah.
Olivia Rodrigo. I'll jam some Justin Bieber. I like Panic at the Disco. They're one of my favorite fucking bands of all time. But I'll get down on some Deicide and Cradle of Filth too, you know?
Yeah, I probably will get a lot of like weird looks for this one, but I've been listening to a lot of Chris Stapleton, which is country, and
He's
I've been
the
listening
shit.
to a lot
I
of
like Chris.
So like every day on the way to work, it's either, and I'm not even joking, the last 2 months, it's been either Chris Stapleton or Killswitch. And I know it's like completely different, but just it's what's doing it for me now. And there's something about Chris's voice that really just I can feel his voice, like the pain in his voice, and I feel like there's like substance there. I feel like that's why I can kind of relate to a lot of metal music. Is like there's a lot of like pain in that voice, and there's actual lyrics, and there's a story behind it, and I think I can relate to that. So
Have you heard the song that Chris Stapleton did with Justin Timberlake?
yeah,
That's my
yeah,
jam.
really. Yeah, and for me, I mean, I don't listen to country. I don't listen to country at all. But somebody put me on to a song, Tennessee Whiskey. I just listened to the lyrics. I fell in love with his voice, and then I just kind of. I've never been to a country concert in my life. I'm going to be going to his concert in October, and I can't wait. You know, like this is a guy who turned down backstage passes for Slipknot because I was having too much anxiety that day. I will be going to that concert, you know, no matter what, because I just want to hear his voice in person. I just for some reason it just speaks to me.
It's
That's awesome.
strange how popular he is because so many people I know listen to him, but like you don't see him on the TV or even hear him on the radio, but he's still very popular. It's like, what do you think that is, Jeremy? Like the music industry just keeping people down, the record labels like not letting people get exposure?
I think it's all situational depending on the band, the artist, the area they're in, the area you're in. Like I've never heard that name before. But if he's doing stuff with Justin Timberlake, his name's out there. You
You've
know.
never heard
But
of
it's
Chris
just 'cause
Stapleton ever?
I have not. But
Holy shit. Wow.
that's not my world. I can
Right.
list you several hundred metal bands you have never heard of that you
Right.
don't know
100%.
exist, but I can't name you 10 country bands at all, you
That
know?
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Just
No, a lot of
because like
metalheads
my
can go back and
capacity
forth.
is yeah.
I totally get it. Like, you ever heard of Anal Cunt or Anal Blast or Volvodinia? You know,
I
like I
can name
totally get it.
you 5 members from every one of those bands.
For reals, dude. Joey Jordison used to play drums in Anal Blast, right?
No, he filled in for a couple shows for Dawn when their regular drummer couldn't do it.
That's a real
Their
band?
singer, yes.
Yeah. Anal
Just
Blast is a real band. They're what is it,
no,
grindcore?
they're not a band anymore because Dawn passed away a few years
Well, I
ago.
mean, at one point in time, they were like Audie thought I just made that name up. But
I
no, there's
did, dude. I was like, Anal Blast. That sounds like
no, there's a band called Anal Cunt too, and they have like 45 songs on a CD, but they're all like 13 seconds long, and the titles are like, "I fucking hate coming up with song titles," and then like 10 songs later, they'll be like, "Naming song titles still fucking sucks."
Anal Blast.
Yeah, Anal Cunt and Anal
See,
Blast, but
yeah, anal cunt stuff is really, really, really offensive, and unfortunately, their singer also passed away. But they could not exist in the current era in
no.
any shape or form. But luckily, I was in the well known, if you know about this, the Hatebreed anal cunt fist fight. They landed on me during that fight, so that was fun.
What were those fucking two bands doing touring together in the first place? Was this what the fuck?
So
Okay.
Yeah.
New England Metal and
You tell.
Hardcore Fest, I want to say this is like year 3, and they made this weird decision where they had main stage and then second stage, which is how they always have it. But for this one year, they had a third stage that was down the street, right? Anal Cunt was set up, ready to play, and Phil from Pantera was there doing like guest vocals as he always did for like Anal Cunt and stuff like that. And Hatebreed just walked from this third stage area, which was like down the street at some random building, came all the way back and was like, yeah, we're not doing that. We're playing the second stage instead. And so they started putting their gear up. and Anal Cunt was there ready to play. So it was kind of Hate Breeds bad a little bit on that one. But Seth was the first one to start throwing punches. And if you throw punches and you're like kind of a chubby, kind of grubby grindcore dude, and you have the entire Connecticut hardcore scene and FSU and all that next to you, you're not gonna win that one. And I was there
Absolutely
as a photographer, and Seth's back was to me when he threw his first punch. So he throws the punch this way towards the stage, and then the entire stage comes this way. And I just got out of there as quickly as possible, but they shut down the stage, and then eventually both bands played. But it was a big news story because Anal Cunt and Hatebreed fought, and it was funny.
I gotta point out a few things. Every time you say anal cunt, Audie is fucking trying his
Dude, I'm
hardest to
still
be
trying to wrap
professional.
my head around Anal Blast,
But-
man.
So
But-
Anal
but
Blast was a
this-
joke. They came out to make fun of Cradle of Filth. If you look at their
Did they
first
really?
CD, yes. If you look at their
Okay.
first, Don Decker was a booking agent for the Milwaukee Metal Fest for all the Jack Koshik stuff. So Milwaukee Metal Fest, New Jersey Meltdown, all that kind of stuff. He was a booking agent, but he also could, do his fun shit. So, can I swear on here? Is that not okay?
Fuck yeah, you
Absolutely.
can't do. We said cunt
Okay.
like 14 times. Anal cunt.
Yeah. Good point. So
He just
if
now
you-
figured it out.
yeah. I'm just thinking, like, should I be using all these words on the
You said
interweb?
Anal
Okay.
Blast. Come
So
on.
Anal Blast's first album is called Vaginal Vampire, which is, and their logo is the Cradle of Filth logo, but it says Anal Blast. And all their songs are like about eating tampons, so making fun of vampires.
Oh, that's
Like
genius.
the song titles are stuff like sucking on your they're
This
really
is like
class-
before we knew what trolls were, kind of.
well, this
in the
was
music
in the
industry.
90s, man. This was the 90s, and that's their only CD, I believe. They came out with a couple EPs, but like they were actually good musically. They were a pretty good band.
It depends if you like grindcore or not,
Anal Blast wasn't really grindcore. They were
I got a
more like
Spotify disc.
Okay.
Anal Cunt is grindcore, no question. They're grind. 13-second
Okay.
songs, noise, and the song titles are racist, homophobic, or like
Go have sex with
Nazi
Jesus
stuff.
Christ.
no, it would be like worse. But yeah,
Right.
like it was made to be offensive and funny and ridiculous and over the top.
Right.
Whereas Anal Blast was actually like music. They were actually not terrible. They were more of
Okay.
like a death metal band, not a grindcore. I wouldn't say they were grind at all.
Are they any
See,
relation? Are they any relation to Anal Vomit at all?
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't
is
heard
anal
Anal Vomit. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I looked up Anal Blast.
I'm
I-
not real good at the
usually-
subgenre thing. The subgenre thing is really hard for me. Like it's all metal to me, but then
Yeah.
you got your fucking.
I'm
not hip on that, but I know that you are because I've seen you in. I've actually been called out in the Zobie community. Well, maybe you should just learn your fucking subgenres. I'm like, fuck off. I like whatever, But I do want to bring up one thing. You mentioned FSU. Aren't you a West Coast guy? And isn't FSU typically East Coast?
I'm in Massachusetts. I'm home for Boston
Oh,
hardcore.
so you're a fucking East Coast guy. So you definitely know about FSU. I just assumed
They're
that
my
you were a
dudes.
West Coast guy because of the photography and everything. I thought that most people came to the West Coast. I had no idea. So yeah, you're definitely familiar with FSU, then, aren't you?
Oh,
some of the
yeah.
hardest, some of the hardest guys on the planet. Like we've done an episode about them a little bit, and can you explain the difference between FSU and Boston Beatdown? Because sometimes when I hear about FSU and things, I'm like, these guys were a bunch of little assholes running around beating up sober people or sucker punching drug dealers. And I'm like, that to me is not tough. That's not a gang. That's not a crew. That's a bunch of pussies being a bunch of assholes to people. So can you explain the difference and let us know that FSU is nobody to fuck with, or vice versa, whatever your opinion is? I'd love to hear it because
All the OG FSU dudes are not in FSU. They're just like old dudes who are over it and hang out with their family, But the way it started back in the early days of hardcore is all of a sudden all these skinheads, not the good skinheads, Nazi skinheads and Nazis started kind of infiltrating the Boston punk and hardcore scene. You had those bands like Screwdriver, you had all their fans coming out, you had stuff like that happening. And basically a bunch of dudes in the hardcore scene were like, you know what? we don't want Nazis here. You guys should probably leave. And when they started to fight, they're like, okay, if you punch us, we're going to knock out your teeth. If you come at our shows, we're going to knock out your teeth. It was basically to eradicate Nazis from our scene. And they did
So
it
it was a
real
defense
quick.
mechanism and not a gang. I would call that a defense mechanism to protect the scene, right? Or no?
It was very much that, and it grew and grew and grew. And yeah, there's most of the members are 100% legit. Some people were about fighting, were about clout, were just trying to, fight for fun kind of stuff, do ridiculous stuff, kind of some jackassy kind of stuff. But the big thing in FSU is if you see one of your dudes fighting, you are in that fight right then and there. Doesn't matter what's happening, you're in that fight. Because I've seen
Even if it's
situations where
one-on-one, though.
that's how they got rid of the Nazis. One Nazi shows up, starts a
Okay.
fight, and there's 20 people on him. That Nazi's done.
Okay,
So
that makes sense. So they're not walking around and being bullies, picking on people. They're just like, get the fuck out of here. You don't belong here. And like, I think we can all agree that Nazis don't belong anywhere.
no,
So
I
I
think
guess I'm not as
yeah.
mad at FSU now that you explained it. So I really appreciate that. You
No,
walk
I mean
around
if
beating up
you
Nazis, do it. I don't fuck those guys.
watch the Boston Beatdown DVD, like watch it, and it tells you the history of it a little bit. But yeah, a lot of really really good. Like Elgin James went on to be the showrunner for Mayans. He's the director of the Mayans now, that TV show. Which is
Really?
for Elgin James from Righteous Jams now runs that show. He ran it under Kurt Sutter, and then when Sutter left, he took over. So it's Elgin's show now, which is like holy shit. This dude I've known like forever, like FSU hardcore dude, amazing musician, is now running the Mayans, not the gang, the TV show.
Right.
Which is
Obviously,
so
yeah,
cool.
100%. I get that.
And then
Yeah,
some of these dudes are still in bands.
I feel like
Jeremy,
JR's got something to say. Go ahead, JR.
Mhm.
well, I'm just fascinated because like, dude, you're probably like one of the most like well knowledge person in the music industry because you've worked with so many different like musicians and bands and stuff. Who are you listening to right now that you think they're in the cusp of just like being a band that everybody will recognize in 2-3 years?
Oh, well, there's no question I think Ghost is the next Metallica. Period. Ghost is the
That's a
next
bold
Metallica.
statement, Cotton.
Let me explain.
Yeah,
3
I'd love to
years
hear it.
ago, well, I'll even say 10 years ago, they were playing to 200 people. Right now, they're headlining arenas. Whereas 3 years ago, they were playing theaters. Now they're headlining arenas. There is no one they can open for except for Metallica or Iron Maiden. That's it. They are on the level of Slipknot right now. They are on the level of Rob Zombie. They are on that level that there's maybe 5 other bands that can do what they do.
So they're headlining every night.
Oh yeah, they're headlining
Right.
sold out arena shows, which is like a thing
No,
Slipknot could do.
that's where
A
it
thing
gets. You
Rob
don't. What are
Zombie
you
can
gonna
do.
do after that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. There's
that's
nowhere
it.
to go after that. Right.
You can open for the biggest 2 or 3, 4 bands in the world, and you are one of the biggest bands in the world, especially in metal. So I think they're the next Metallica for sure. They've just been growing and growing. They're doing Jimmy Kimmel. They have the #1 selling physical album of the year so far,
Wow, I did not know that.
including pop music, including country music. They have the #1 selling CD album in physical copies in 2022.
Ghost, the band Ghost.
Do
That
you
is
think
so wild because they've been so far off my radar. I never paid attention to them. But who am I? Like my
They're
opinion
80s
don't mean
arena
shit.
rock. They're 80s arena rock. They
Yeah,
sound like a
totally.
metal ABBA. So, but
Oh,
in
that's a
terms
great
of
way to put it. That is really is.
yeah,
I love ABBA, by the way. ABBA's the shit.
do you
then
think
you'll love Ghost.
do you
All
think
right,
that
I'm gonna check out Ghost then. God damn it.
do you think that the reason they would have the most physical sold album is because the people who listen to that genre of music are people who still physically will buy a record as opposed to a 15-year-old kid who will
I
stream
think you
it
just
on
fucking
YouTube
nailed it.
and then use their mommy and daddy's account for Spotify and listen to music? Do you think that there's a correlation to that?
Absolutely, metal fans are more collectors than other genres.
Mm-hmm.
They need the vinyl. They need every color of the vinyl. They're completionists. And
Mhm.
Ghost is very smart in that they have an exclusive going to Target, an exclusive going to Walmart, an exclusive for their store, an exclusive for Newbury Comics, an exclusive for this web store. And they all sell out so quickly. They have Funko Pops of every character they've done. They're very smart with their marketing. Very, very smart.
That's the
And
one.
Go ahead. Go
And
ahead.
it's like Guar, where they have characters and a storyline, and if you follow them, it's like their shows are so funny. They're so funny live, and I didn't get it at first. I was like, this band looks metal and sounds not metal. I don't like it. And then I saw them live, and I'm like, now I get it. Okay, there's a storyline. It's funny. It's awesome. They have this kind of Guar thing going on where it's a whole, and then I love
Sure.
them ever since. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they put on one of the best shows out there. But in terms of
that's
other bands that are on the rise, I would say Zeal and Ardor, man, they're amazing. They're my favorite band of the last like 10 years.
cool. I need to give them a listen. I always like to go, and you know this, even when we're trying to curate a mystery box, it's like, okay, what genre are we trying to hit, and making sure the subgenre is on point, but also like that if you listen to that, you will relate to the items in the box. So I know you're a huge resource in music, as far as like you also know a lot of background in the history of music, and I always can ask you. So I was just curious, like what you were listening to that you think would be like next level, 2-3 years from now. So that's good.
I was shocked when you said Ghost because, like I said earlier, like no offense to them or anything, but they've been so far off my radar. And I change my favorite bands as often as I change my underwear. It's like when this CD comes out, they're my favorite band for a month. Not saying I only change my underwear once a month, but I think you know what I'm saying. But I was expecting to hear Ice Nine Kills from you because they're my favorite band, and at the moment. But that could change if another band comes out. Maybe Lamb of God to bring some shit out or whatever. But they're really smart with their merch too, like their vinyls and their exclusives. There's like 150 goddamn different fucking vinyls. And metalheads are collectors, like you said, dude. And it's like you can only listen to the same goddamn album, but fuck, I gotta have the green one too. Now I gotta have the fucking clear one with the blood splatter, the FYE exclusive. I gotta have it.
Well, and
I bought a fucking tape, bro. They brought out a fucking tape, a cassette tape, and
That's
I bought
huge
that
now.
motherfucker,
Tapes are
dude.
massive right now.
It's so
Yeah.
strange because like I was talking to Jayare earlier, right before you hopped on. My truck is 20 years old. I got a tape deck in it. You goddamn right I'm gonna buy a fucking Ice Nine Kills cassette tape. And I'm gonna
There
slap
you
it
go.
in that bitch because fuck the radio. No offense
Yeah.
against Ozzy and ACDC, but that's all they play all day long. I'm gonna listen to Ice Nine Kills on the fucking tape deck.
Well, I
Well,
think
this is
that's
what happened
smart.
with them. Like they did this smart thing where like, okay, you have motionless, motionless in white, you have in this moment, and you have Black Veil Brides at this level, and they're like the three bands that are at this level. What Ice Nine did with their new record is they joined that level instantly.
Yeah, and what's crazy too is like I don't know how true any of this stuff is, and behind the scenes stuff is like I've always heard that Motionless in White and Ice Nine Kills hated each other. I don't know if that's true, but they're touring together now with Black Veil Brides, and like let's just pretend that they do hate each other. Well, they realize, hey, even though we hate each other, we got to be professionals, and you know how much fucking money we can make touring together because all the fucking girls in the fucking merch line are wearing your shirts. All the girls in our merch line are wearing your shirts. Let's fucking tour. It makes sense, right?
It's a business, guys. I mean, look at
Right.
Kiss. I mean, the masters of merchandising, right? Like,
Yep.
to seek bands now and how they're utilizing their social media following to diversify the portfolio and product SKUs that they're launching. Dude, that's where the money's at, right? That historically, Jeremy, how do bands make money? Touring, right? Not on actual album
Merch.
sales, merch and tours, ticket sales, right? There's still a split there, but that's where the money.
VIP has been the big thing lately.
Yeah.
VIP is where bands are making a killing.
Yeah, and so to see them be hip to it and build a brand, and then literally have a diverse portfolio of products that they're launching to the fan base, dude, that's like next level shit. I mean, that's where they're really setting up their futures. Because you also know in this music industry, it's like everything else. It comes in waves. Sometimes you're here, then you're here, and you have to continuously put out a product to keep you out there. And I think it's been phenomenal to see that.
And that's
So
why
real
it's
quick-
so smart.
they do it smart.
Go ahead, Audie. I
Real-
feel like you haven't said anything in a while.
Real
Chirp
quick,
in here.
educate me. So I'm ignorant to this just because I don't know. I'm very selective when it comes to music. I'll listen to all kinds. So Ghost are they the ones that wear like the big priest hats and shit and the black makeup and
They look like a haunted Gothic church or like a haunted Catholic church.
like a
That's what they
Catholic?
look
Yeah,
like.
yeah, okay. I was I was like, Ghost. Okay.
I got you. I could show you what they look like.
Yeah,
I can
I
show you a
and now
never
that you
before
said that, I'm
seen
probably
photo.
gonna get on Spotify and bump
You
the
know what?
numbers up.
They're like I said before a couple times, they're so far off my radar. But now that Jeremy's bringing them up, I'm like, when I get off here, I think I'm going to listen to a song because
Yeah,
I might be surprised.
I've
I
never
might
given him a
like them.
chance. Yeah,
Me
I'll have
either.
to definitely
And that's such
check
a
it out.
shame because so many bands come and go. And like, think about all the fucking bands we never gave a chance to. What if nobody fucking batted an eye at Tool or Pantera? You know what I mean? And it's like every fucking band started in a
Okay.
goddamn garage or their mom's basement. You know, somewhere Slayer, at some point in time, Slayer was playing in a fucking garage. And now they're the world's biggest fucking metal band. But it's like, at the same time, there was 100,000 other bands playing in their mom's garage, but Slayer got signed first. There's got to be guys in prison who could beat Michael Jordan in a fucking half court. You know what I mean? There's people out there. It's so strange how much shit is off our radar. It's like fucking the ocean. Like there's got to be creatures in the ocean that we never found, or creatures in the fucking rainforest that we haven't discovered yet. And art is the same fucking way, dude. It's insane. Right or no?
No,
Well, let
you're
me tell you
right.
something funny. Slayer's manager is Ghost's manager.
Oh, cool.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Kristen. She's the best person ever.
Okay, I mean that makes sense, I guess. With
I feel like there's so many
big
questions
they
I
are.
want to ask you, Jeremy, but like I want to save them because you are going to come on the podcast, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right.
Plus,
So I want to
I
save a
don't know
few
where the
here.
squares are, but JR is the man to ask questions to. There we go.
Yeah, he's the Jeremy totally stole your spotlight here,
No,
Jr.
no, dude, I'm all for it because I love hearing Jeremy talk about music because every time he's got such like knowledge of metal and just music in general that I can listen to him and I'm also gonna go listen to Ghost after this and
yeah.
I'm gonna go get in the shower and literally listen to Ghost. I listen to music when I shower, and I think that I want to listen to this podcast because I think you have so much knowledge that I just want to listen. Like I will add a comment here or there, but
Thanks, dude.
I think that's the one thing about Zobie too is like I've been able to meet a lot of great like people who have like very creative like backgrounds and they're just so talented. So this is somebody who curates the metal box if you think about it. Like
Yeah, I feel like Jeremy is like the epitome of like the American dream. Like, because my dad always told me as a little no, in all honesty, and I'll tell you why. When I was a little kid, my dad told me if you do something, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I feel like that's Jeremy right here because you are a fan first and foremost, right? But you're paying your bills by taking photos of these people. And it's like you would either way, even if you're not taking photos of them, you're going to listen to them. And if you weren't listening to them, you'd love to take photos of them. And you fucking found a way to be the best at both, right?
Actually,
I mean,
if you think about it, he's actually responsible for all your favorite brands' vision and to bring it to real life. That's very powerful.
Yeah, those fucking posters that are on my walls. And when dude, there's nothing like buying a fucking CD and cracking it open and looking at the pictures of the book. And this is the motherfucker that's doing that shit.
You're at an airport, you're going through the newsstand, you see a magazine, and you're like, oh my God, that's a great photo. That's my band. You pick it up. That's the motherfucker that gets that vision and puts it out. And you as a fan can like see it and be like, I connect with that. Let me grab that. It's
very 100%.
Extremely powerful.
Well, thank you.
So how involved are you with the positions? Like, do you make suggestions, or does the band come to you and be like, "I want a wolf in the background, and I want the fuck"? But like, I've seen you do some crazy shit, bro. Like, you'll put light bulbs up behind you that make the shape of an A, and the band's name starts with an A, and you can see the A reflect in the pupils of the singer. Like, I've seen you do this shit, and it's amazing. So, like, what comes first? Do you have your ideas, or does the band have ideas? Like, how does this happen?
It's always different. Like same thing with probably JR doing boxes. Like he'll have a rough idea, but then it's collaborative with the artist, or the artist will come to you with like, I have this idea, make it a reality. Like when I'm doing some stuff with Maria, it's
like the milk bath, right?
Yeah, she's like, here's the idea, you light it, you give it your look, and you make it work. So she'll have the idea, and I'll light it, and I'll make it what she wants. Whereas a lot of times, I'll come into a shoot like the band has no idea because it's just like a press shoot or whatever it is, and they're like, okay, just do your thing, and I'll set up lights and just kind of roll with it and do whatever I think is fitting for the band. But a lot of it's collaborative. A lot of it's like, okay, here's my idea. What do you think? And then it's a very, very directional no matter what.
And you tour with these bands sometimes too, right? They're not just coming to a booth to take photos. Like you're on the road sometimes, right? Taking live shots and stuff.
I haven't toured in a decade, but I did tour
Oh,
for a decade.
okay.
So I did do a lot of touring back in my younger days. I'm kind of the old man who's like, okay, like I just got a tour offer the other day, actually, for the first time in years and years for one of my closest friends, like bands, Lacuna Coil, and I just couldn't do it. It was them and Apocalyptic are out together, and it's just like, dude, I literally have I'm flying to Nashville for a hailstorm thing. I'm going here for a Guar thing. I'm going here for, this other thing. There's no way I could do it because I just have so many shoots lined up. And then also, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm also the editor in chief of Outburn Magazine. So like that takes up a lot of my time. I've literally been up to 6 a.m. every day the past 2 weeks working on the new issue, like sleeping 4, 5, 6 hours a day at most if I'm lucky for like tonight's going to be one of those nights too, but just wrapping up an issue just takes up so much time I can't tour anymore. But what I'll normally do in terms of photo shoots, it's a band's either coming to my studio or I'm going to a venue like the Palladium, the Webster, Boston, New York, whatever, setting up a background or setting up lights in the background, doing a photo shoot with them and doing all that kind of stuff.
I was gonna ask you, Jeremy. So, like, do you like traveling still, or is that one of the reasons why you don't do it anymore?
No, I love it. And now I get to travel with Tara, which is even better.
Yeah.
I get to have my partner and my best assistant and the best human on earth just with me at all times. Um, I do love the excitement of, hey Jeremy, what are you doing today? It's 9 a.m. What's up? Can you jump a plane at 1 p.m., do a photo shoot with Bring Me the Horizon at 5 p.m., and send it in by 8 p.m. and hop the plane back at 9 p.m.? And stay awake for 36 hours and get this cover done in like no time. I love that rush. I love that, like,
Yeah.
I don't mind traveling. I love it, but it's different when you're doing something different every day. Like if I'm shooting a different band doing different things, but shooting the same band and the same show for 30 to 60 days in a row and coming up with new things to shoot and you know all that just gets kind of tiresome. There's certain bands I would definitely tour with again.
Yeah.
Like if I got the opportunity to tour with certain bands, I'd totally be down. Yeah.
I think there's a question there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have you? It
Yeah.
says Ben asked, have you ever photographed body count?
I got you. 1 second. I have my phone right
And
here, so I'm pretty sure I
and
can
I
pull it up.
have a question for you, Jeremy. When you look that up, if Anal Blast ever came to you and was like, "Can you tour with us?" Would you do it?
Well, their singer's dead, so if they figured that out, I would definitely do it because
Okay, how about
shooting
Anal
someone
Cunt?
who's their singer is also dead, so it would be
Oh,
tricky.
that's how uneducated I am. I apologize.
There's body count
Oh,
right
okay,
there. Photo
there you
shoot I
go,
did with
Ben.
them. It's kind of,
That's awesome.
but yeah, I've done like 3 or 4 photo shoots with body count. I've done a couple that were also just Ice-T. I shot him for the cover of Metal Hammer before. I shot him for an Outburn thing, and that body count photo was for Sumerian Records.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
The reason I bring up the travel is because I know for me personally, like I'd love to be able to bring my wife when I travel because I think it just make a better experience overall. So I think for me, part of the travel that I dislike is being away from the wife and the kids. So if I could find a way to just bring my wife along, I think it'd be a lot better.
Make her your personal assistant.
Yeah, straight up. No, she loves what she does, and I think that's what makes it difficult. But I'm like,
There you go.
it would make it so much better for me personally, just the travel aspect.
It'd be like
I
a
mean,
vacation all the time with work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, last time I went to LA, I went for something like 5 weeks, and Tara was there for 2 of the weeks, and for 3 weeks she wasn't. Whereas this time when I was there for 6 weeks, she was there the whole time. And it just made things so much easier because she's my main assistant. She does all of my behind the scenes photos. So any BTS you've seen, she's done. That's all her. So it's just easier having her there than having her across the country. And we have a very unique relationship in that we wake up together, we do our morning routine together, we spend our day together, We do, lunch and dinner together, and then we go to sleep together. We don't have separate, like, she doesn't have a job where she goes off and leaves the house and, does her thing, and I go do my job, and we meet at some point in the day and spend our time together. It's our life is so intertwined that our days are kind of usually together.
Yeah.
It's very rare that it's not. So yeah, that being a part of traveling makes it easier. But if I get like a call, like I know I'm flying out to do stuff within this moment, not next week. Next week I'm in Nashville. The week after I'm in New York within this moment. Actually, no, I was going to fly out, but now I don't have to. Now I get to drive and Tara gets to come, so never mind. But if I were given like you need to fly here and do this photo shoot for one day, I would just do that solo. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I was away from her for like weeks at a time, I can understand that being like terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks.
So my question is, why the fuck do we have these donut characters from JR when we can have Jeremy fly out and take sexy photos like real ones?
Yeah, for my
Yeah, I
own-
was gonna say,
That's what
like, for your
Zobie
OnlyFans, got you.
dude.
Yeah, he was talking about having OnlyFans earlier today. I was
Exactly. I got that FOMO when he was talking about I'm doing these photo shoots. I'm like, without me?
right. I'd be so offended.
You'd be able to make him more slim, right? I mean, you got some filters, right?
Dude, it's all about that wide angle lens and that rim lighting on the sides to just kind of
It's all about the edit.
balance it out.
Fucking Stanley Kubrick, that shit, man.
It's all about the lighting and the angle. That's everything.
we definitely gotta like talk so we can try to put that's probably the number one question I get asked. Like, when's the next metal box? I'm like, you realize how
Bad.
No, I tell everybody, I'm like, you know how long it takes to like get something lined up, especially because the world opened up and people are touring. It makes things so
everyone's gone.
100%. I've been trying to, not to name drop or nothing, but I've been trying to get Spencer on the podcast, and I don't know how easy he is or what he's going to cost, but it's like now's not the time because he's touring, and like I got to wait till he gets home.
Yeah.
And Nadia just had issues with her head and everything, so it's like you got to wait on shit. But I was wondering too, man. Daughters of Darkness, that's your book, right?
Correct,
And the singer Lamb of God fucking did your forward. I was thinking, like, why hasn't that guy been in the fucking Zobie box? And like, people don't understand, like, just because you know this guy and this guy knows that guy, it doesn't work like that all the time, you know. So Randy will not do signings.
He will not do signings. He will not accept money for signings. Anytime you see him sign anything, it's always for charity. You'll never see him do anything that is not for charity. But that being said, JR, I could hit him up and be like,
he'll donate the money to a charity program.
Really?
Because fucking Linda Blair from The Exorcist, she does that too. All her signings go to pit bulls. Jamie Lee Curtis does it. It's like a fucking $100,000 to get a private signing with Jamie Lee Curtis, but all the money goes to, you know, some kind of a charity. Why couldn't you work that out with Randy Blythe?
Yeah.
I did ask him before, and he was just like not interested. I mean, he's a very, very close friend of mine. As you can see, he did the forward for my book. He's a photographer as well. I'm going to be seeing him in a couple weeks, and I can bring it up again and see what he says. But initially, he was just, there's some bands that, like, I'm not going to drop a lot of names in here, but there's some bands JR and I talk about, and I'm like, cool, I'm going to reach out to them and see what they say. And they're just like, nope. Because they just think the idea of signing autographs for money is stupid. Yeah. They just won't do it. They're just like,
man, that's wild.
We'll sign them for free for fans forever. Right. We'll sign them for free for fans. We'll sign them in VIPs for fans. We're not going to sign them for some collectible company. We're not going to sign, like, we know you're our friend and all, but
I think outside looking in, because like Rob Zombie, for example, is a big collector. But like I've heard him say, like, anybody who doesn't sign an autograph is a fucking piece of shit. And for him to do one for money makes him feel like, oh, this is fucking stupid. So I get it. But it's so strange because a lot of them are collectors. Marilyn Manson, for example, he collects things too. But like they don't understand the autograph thing, I think, like how we collect autographs. And like we're willing to pay you. And we don't think you're an asshole for charging us.
I don't think you'll find anyone in the metal world that's not a collector.
Yeah.
That makes
instruments, between vinyl. I don't know many people in metal bands that don't collect vinyl. Like, honestly, like Zobie should have their own vinyl variant store like Revolver does now, and holy crap, you would kill it with that. I'm going to talk to you about that soon.
Yeah, but what would you do with that though? Like, I mean, what would you put on a vinyl? JR can't put
No, he's
Picture
talking about
those
just the
nipples on a vinyl record.
Yeah,
No. I'm talking like, you know how Revolver, like the new Ghost album came out and Revolver had 500 pink vinyl,
Right.
like, and Target had 500 blue.
Yeah, and
Um,
Funko does it with, their pops, and FYE will have their own fuck. Yeah, I totally
exactly. So
with
companies can
Jayare.
buy into that and wholesale buy a clutch of a certain color and put it out on their label and sell it themselves. And I think that's a good thing Zobie Metal could do, possibly.
sign me
I'll
up.
I'll
Yes.
I'll talk to you about that soon because I
We're
think
gonna
that's
write the
that's a
checks.
thing.
Let's make this happen.
And you could turn them into boxes potentially
Yeah,
too. But
yeah, I know.
I got ideas. It's
I
my bad. I've been like so slammed lately that I haven't been on it for metal box stuff. But
yeah.
next week for sure, I got you.
Yeah, no, I
Wow.
think the my favorite box to play with is the metal box, just because I think music touches everybody in the most impactful ways, and for me, it helped me go through a lot of part of life. So I think that's like the fun one for me. Like if I have to put the number one box that I like doing is the metal one, and then it's the Fright. But I think for me, it's just busy. People are touring, making money. They're at home for so long,
And when
and
they're home, they don't want to sign 250 fucking 8x10s,
nobody wants to sign. And I think going back on Jeremy's statement about like bands not wanting to sign for money, they don't want to sign for money for a collectible store. They're getting paid what, $400, $500, $600 for VIP per VIP sold, so they can watch a sound check and then sign a couple of things and meet the hardcore fans. You know how much money they're generating on those VIP packages? Like money they've never seen before.
And
Like,
that's 100% profit, right? The label don't take that. The
Mhm.
venue don't take that. That goes
Nothing.
right back to the bus. Yeah.
5 members can generate $50,000, an extra 10 G's for them, plus their appearance, show
Right.
cuts they're gonna. That's crazy money, dude. Like, so, yeah, man. And think about it, they're on tour for like 30 dates. Like, just do the math. Like, some serious money.
Absolutely.
So,
But the
anyway.
cool thing about collectors in metal and then horror, like you said, Fright is your other favorite. Like horror and metal are
Yeah.
that, and they always have been,
Yeah.
which is awesome. Doug Bradley in Cradle of Filth stuff, and it's also tied together, which
You
is
got
great.
CJ with Alice Cooper.
Yeah. Everybody always wants that photo, that dual sign photo, Alice. We sold one today. Somebody walked in and wanted that photo in particular. So there's always a crossover that makes it fun there. That you can have a lot of fun with. Even the D, that when D was inside the box, dude, that's like seriously one of the boxes that everybody still talks about. Nobody expected that. And it was so left field for people.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, they
Awesome.
never were like, how the fuck did this happen? And so it's one of those things where like those boxes are the ones
yeah.
I think, leave a lasting impression to the collector.
And the other really awesome thing about the box is it really helped out a lot of musicians who are out of work during the pandemic. So like even like a lot of people who weren't touring, it got money to them, like for guitar picks, for their autographs and stuff. And like Zobie really helped them out and also helped me out. I wasn't working. I wasn't doing anything during the pandemic. So like endlessly grateful for Jayare and that opportunity to not only help my friends, help the music world, help musicians, but help myself stay afloat during the pandemic as well. So thank you.
I think that's like one of the things about the pandemic. Again, it goes back to meeting people and being able to collaborate with people who all have that vision, who believe in the vision, who work together. And it's really cool synergy to work together with people who want to collaborate like that. And that was the whole point of the pandemic. That was one of the good things that came out, that people were able to work together and help each other stay afloat. And something that sadly, I mean, some people remember it. So Jeremy, I'm always grateful for you just to like, hey, yeah, we worked together. It was awesome. But at the flip side, there's people like that do Comic Cons who completely forgot that there was a pandemic, and V-Shot helped them stay afloat. And they're like, oh, now it's whatever. I don't care because the world's open again. And so I've seen both sides of it. So I'm always more grateful for the people who like, hey, we worked together, we survived.
Yeah, no, I'll always be grateful. Thank you. And I'm stoked to do metal boxes. Like it's so much fun putting them together, and seeing what we come up with, seeing the people get stoked when they get the boxes. That's the best part. When someone opens the box and they're like, dang, and they're so stoked. But I also love when someone's like, I don't know who this is. I'm going to look them up. Dang, this is awesome. I love this band. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I don't know this horror film. I've only seen Halloween, but I'm gonna go check out this basket case film. Dude, that's the best thing that you can tell Audie. Like literally, that's the best comment he can get. He's like, dude, see, 3 more people are gonna watch that this week. I guarantee you, boom, YOLO.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah.
Winning.
Yeah, winning. Yeah, that's the best. That's the best.
They will know my Belial jokes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, it was
absolutely.
awesome.
And
All
like
right,
the
guys,
fact that you give the opportunity for those smaller bands to kind of put something in there, like, you know, Tetriarch, who blew up and they're massive now. Living Dead Girl, who's blowing up and they're on tour right now, which is sick. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, that to me was also one of the things that like I really enjoy, especially because like I remember like, oh yeah, they're gonna sign these 5x7s. I'm like, oh fuck it, third autograph, you know, and they just did it because they wanted to like they are seeing like this is one fan who could potentially get this item, who will go look at the band and hear them. That to me was fucking awesome. I love that. I love that.
Absolutely.
I was curious about you guys getting more underground bands. Like Jeremy, I reached out to you about getting like Dead or like the DED or fucking Kissing Candace. There's like, oh, they're cool bands, but they're just not. But like, I
they're
think
both very good friends.
You should fucking start putting those on those easier to reach bands in these boxes. I think, you know, you can't always have, you know, in this moment in a box, and sometimes you need some Deads and some fucking Kissing Candaces and whatnot, right?
I mean, I don't want to speak
like
for JR. Like, I don't want to speak for JR, but I feel like if there's not a certain level of celebrity to the box, people will get it and be disappointed and not buy the next one. You know,
I get that because I've definitely done that too. Because when the metal box first came out, I'm like, I'm buying every single fucking one. I don't give a shit. And then it's like, oh, I got some, you know, that's like, I didn't really like it, so I didn't get it. So I totally get it. And I guess it's harder because a lot of people that buy the boxes probably aren't necessarily the mystery box people. They might be the metal people, and they want to see something like from Mudvayne or Slipknot or something that they're into, and they don't want to hear about the underground bands. But
you also
I kind of get that.
The
well, no, you put them together,
right?
Right.
The marketing is way different too, right? You release a pop culture anime or fright, you're giving them themes. Here, you can't put the band logos on the promotional stuff. You're literally just saying, hey, this is going to be bass metal or, you know, whatever, you know, and you're going to take a real chance. So someone who's purchasing a box for $40 a lot of money, who's like, I don't know what's going to be in here. I hope it's a band I like. That's why that comment of like, hey, you know what? I got this autograph. I don't know who it is. I've never listened to them. I'm going to check them out now. That's why it's such an impactful comment to get. Because it's not like they know Halloween, Friday the 13th, and, you know, Hellraiser is going to be in this box. They have no idea what's going to be in that metal box. And I think that's what makes it fun, too, from a musician standpoint, as far as just, like, loving music in general. If you love metal, like you said, you listen to all metal, it's all metal to you, then you will appreciate the metal box because there probably is going to be a band there you have not heard of or will be reminded of, like Ghost, that you're going to go give a listen to now. That's
right. So that was my main question is like, how come, like, I know that it's hard to put out metal boxes because getting a hold of people, but why haven't you settled for less, like bringing out these lesser known bands? Like,
I think they're in there. They're in there. They're just not the headliner.
Yeah, I think, so I think the counter to that is if I was to do something like that, if Jeremy and I put a box together of bands that people, average casual music lovers have not heard of, they will shit on the box. They will because
I'm not saying local bands. I'm like, these bands are out there to be heard. I mean, you get your one fucking headline box, just like you do with, like, I'm gonna shit on Audie here. No one gives a fuck about Ice Cream Man. No one cares about Basket Case.
I disagree with that.
The majority of horror fans is what I mean here.
Yeah.
But it's like you guys throw those horror franchises in that no one gives a fuck about. Why don't you do it with metal?
I think
I'm going to say there are more fans of Ice Cream Man and Clint Howard than Dead.
That's one example, though. Like, I'm just saying, like, that was maybe a bad example, but, like, the majority, like, when your horror boxes, they want your fucking Freddy's and your Michael Myers and all that bullshit, but you throw in the random ones, and then, like, how come, I'm just curious why you don't do it with the metal box, too. Is it a gamble, or, like, what do you think?
I think the difference there is that horror fans are probably the ones who know of Basket Case. They know of Ice Cream Man. They watched it because everybody has seen the top 4 horror film franchises. You know, the Fridays, the Night of the
Your Mount Rushmore of horror, right?
Right. They've already seen that. But horror fans are not, like hardcore horror fans are not the ones that are wearing the Michael Myers shirts to the Comic Cons. They're wearing it to they're wearing like that unique Basket Case shirt because they really get to express like, I'm a hardcore horror fan. I take time to watch all these small.
Right.
In music, it works to an extent, but again, the expectation when you're creating a mystery box of 4 themes is that you're getting one item from each theme for $40. For music, you're like, I can give you a subgenre and that's it. The marketing is different. The expectation here is, well, I'm buying it for the Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not a Friday the 13th or Halloween, but I know I can flip it or trade it for trade bait. I'm going to purchase this. For music, it's so much different, and that's the reason why we haven't done that. Also, it's very hard to counter that where it's like you've had Maria, you've had, Hatebreed in the box, you've had D. Oh, and by the way, we're doing this box now. It's almost going to be like, well, for $40, I was able to get like Hatebreed in this moment before. What's happening now? And you don't want to hurt the brand like that either.
Right. Like even if the other bands in their opinion sucks, if they don't like these bands, they got a fucking Jamie Justa autograph and they only paid $40 for the box with a JSA. So like that alone, there's your $40 right there.
Right.
And if they don't like the fucking dope, the fucking guitar pick from the guy from Dope or whatever, then fuck them. Like you got your $40 worth already, Daddy-O. So I could see that too. Like if you're putting in all underground bands and they're like, where's my value?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That and metal, there's less metal fans than there's horror fans, period. But metal fans can be like, I like 80s metal. That's it. So if there's no D. Snyder, if it's Hatebreed, Maria, Christina, they're not about it. If there's people who are like, I like death metal, put death metal in there and they're only going to buy death metal, if they know the genre is death metal, they're going to buy it. If you're kind of vague and you don't have, I'm kind of losing my track here, but you get what I mean? Like there's very select, like, I like this metal only. I like this metal only. But there's people like us who are more broad, where like, we like all genres of metal. I would buy any box that's themed with metal.
Right.
If it said hair metal, I probably wouldn't buy it because I'm not a hair metal dude.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to get to that too. Like that was the one thing I didn't like about the metal box because there was no clues.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually when you're like, oh, this movie's in this box, but it was like you drop a hint, you'd play the dum dum ding, dum dum ding, or you play some kitty in the background or something. I get that. But yeah, that's hard. And like if you do a new metal box, yeah, the guys that don't like new metal ain't gonna buy it. So it's such a hard fucking genre to get into. It's like you might as well do NASCAR boxes and cook fucking boxes at this point. You know what I mean?
If you really think about it,
Julia Child's autograph in a box, like no one's gonna give a fuck.
Me and Adi have this challenge, and we kind of like have this game where it's like, all right, what franchise does everybody know in horror? And we have a list of them. They're like, all right, how long has it been since we haven't added a theme like that? Because the truth of the matter is, if you put Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th and Halloween in every box you put out,
you better do it like once a fucking year. Don't be fucking,
But other companies do it to where they sell thousands of boxes like that every single month because it sells. There's an SEO. You can run ads towards that audience, and it's for sure. In metal, it's really hard to do that. Like, you know what I mean? And you can't use the band names. You just can't. So it's like, you got to get creative with it. And I think that's kind of like the pro and con of it, right? So.
Yeah, you definitely can't name drop on because it's all about licensing at that point, ain't it? Yeah. And like not only with just the bands, but like probably labels and everything else. Like there seems to be a lot of fucking fingers in the pie when it comes to making a metal box, I could assume.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the D one was very obvious with what was it? We're not going to take it box or something like that. I mean that was a super easy one, but I don't think anything else will be that.
Yeah.
Exactly. That on the nose.
And that was kind of probably the most we pushed it where it's like, this is what.
Well, there was a couple that got spoiled. Like Jamie, he fucking he posted it on his Instagram.
Posted about it.
And then, like, I saw your name, Jeremy, in the back because you got one of the biggest watermarks I've ever seen in my life, and it was in the corner. I'm like, oh, that's going to Zobie. I know for a fact that's going to Zobie. So, yeah, but hey, I bought that box because I knew I was getting a Jamie Justa.
You know how many messages I got from that? Like, are you working with Hatebreed right now? I was like, no. Like, well,
Hatebreed? I've never heard of Hatebreed.
He's signing a bunch. He's ruined it. I remember hitting me and Jeremy talking about it. I was like, oh, fuck. Like,
Yeah, he felt so bad. He was like, "Oh shit, I didn't know, bro. I'm sorry."
I was like, fuck. But I mean, I've always said this, like, Hatebreed's one of my favorites. So I was like, just to have that in the box was like, to me, I was like, fuck everybody. This is going to be awesome. Like,
Yeah.
it's
we just recently saw Hatebreed like not too long after that
Yeah.
box. You did that box.
Hell
I
yeah.
thought that was fucking cool.
I think it was like everybody was trying to go to the main stage to watch Bad Boys. I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to second stage. I'm going to watch Hatebreed.
Yeah,
headline.
Hatebreed,
I was
yeah.
like, fuck that. I'm going over here.
Hell yeah, they're so good. They're such great dudes.
So what is Hatebreed, Jeremy? Is that because I always called it like groove metal when your riffs and your drums match, and then I also think it's kind of hardcore. Like, so I'm not a subgenre guy. So what is Hatebreed?
Hardcore.
I got you. Connecticut hardcore, but they definitely toe the line of metal, but they are definitively Connecticut hardcore.
I hate when people say like they claim where they're from and define that. Like, does that? I guess it works with rap because if you ever listen to Chicago rap,
West
the
Coast,
Shy
East
Bangin',
Coast, yeah.
West Coast, East Coast too. But Midwest.
Same thing with hardcore.
Yeah, okay, so that makes a lot of sense. I'm glad that I brought that up then, yeah, because I never really thought about it but they're like, oh, we're fucking West Virginia fucking pop punk. I'm like, what the fuck does that even fucking mean? So, but like, so you think that Hatebreed is Connecticut hardcore then, huh?
They are definitively the Connecticut hardcore band.
What about like Blood for Blood then? What are they?
Boston hardcore. They are, yeah, Boston hardcore, no
So
question.
there's different kinds of hardcore. It just depends on where you're growing up and where you're writing your music and shit.
Oh man, Boston, Connecticut, New York, OC, LA, yeah, yeah, Chicago hardcore, Detroit hardcore. Those are all definitely a lot of things. Yeah, someone's mentioning Joss's other band, Ice Pick, which is a band with Danny Diablo, of Scarhead, New York City hardcore band. I grew up in the hardcore scene as much as I grew up in the metal scene. So I know all those guys. Actually, the Ice Pick records, if you have it and open it up, those are my photos in the Ice Pick album. I've done all of Joss's photos for years and years and years and years. Iowa, Slipknot is new metal. They are new metal.
I love that.
But,
I love that. Iowa is Slipknot.
Yeah, it's like Iowa's known for two things: corn and Slipknot, and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and they're it's so fucking strange, like to claim, parts of the country, like, oh, this is what we do and this is why we sound this way. But I guess it makes sense. It's weird. I guess you have to listen to all those bands to be able to tell the difference between the two.
It's also genre dependent. Like there is a thing called Gothenburg metal, which is like In Flames, Soilwork, At the Gates. At the Gates really created that sound, but that is a specific sound from Gothenburg, Sweden, and all those Gothenburg bands. And then, bands like Killswitch Engage and All That Remains and Shadows Fall kind of ripped that off a little bit. And of course, melodic death became like the biggest kind of thing in the early 2000s, but that all came from Gothenburg, a very specific area of Sweden where like Arch Enemy and all those bands are from. And it's like, all right, Gothenburg metal, that is one specific city, not even the state, not a country, a city. Just like with black metal, there was like Oslo black metal, Oslo black metal, Bergen black metal, everything depending on genre can be, geographic. But some genres just don't give a shit at all.
Yeah.
And
I listen to so much different type of music that I'm just like, I just listen to it.
it also doesn't have to be geographical either. Like, for example, like the people who are into fucking black metal would be like, Cradle of Filth's not black metal. But like when I first heard Cradle of Filth, I was like told that they were black metal, but I'm like, I'm being told by other people, oh no, it's Venom's black metal and fucking Mayhem is black metal. Cradle of Filth is overproduced and they're bullshit and fuck them, they're posers. I hear that. So it's like, is Cradle of Filth black metal or are they just fucking, I don't get it.
All right, so let me tell you something interesting about black metal and death metal. They have as many subgenres as metal does. Metal has so many subgenres. Black metal, there's raw black metal, symphonic black metal. There's unfortunately NS black metal. There's thrash black metal, black and death. there are so many subgenres of black metal. Cradle of Filth is symphonic vampiric black metal, if you want to define it. Whereas like Dimmu Borgir is symphonic black metal, Agothadamian is symphonic black metal, black metal with a lot of keyboards and orchestration. Right?
So you
They
said
sing
Cradle of
mostly
Filth
about
is symphonic, vampiric, black metal.
yes.
Whatever happened to just being Cradle of Filth? Like, how many other bands are there that are symphonic, vampiric, black metal? Are there other bands in that genre?
Oh yeah,
Because at
Crimson
that point, I'd
Moon,
be like, "You're Cradle of Filth,
Abigor.
motherfucker," you know?
Yeah, I mean the whole thing is Cradle of Filth was a symphonic black metal band, even though they started off kind of deathy. I mean Darkthrone, one of the most infamous black metal bands from the foundation of black metal, started as a death metal band. Their first couple records are death metal before they transcended to be more black metal on A Blaze in the Northern Sky and Transylvanian Hunger. Like Total Death is a death metal record. So Cradle of Filth, when they started, they were a little more deathy. Then Principle of Evil became more black metal-y, and then as they went into Vampire and Dusk in Their Embrace, they became more like romantic, more keyboard based, more symphonic and orchestrated, and it was all about like vampires and stuff. Hence, Principle of Evil had a vampire on the cover. Vampire was based on vampires. Cruelty is based on Elizabeth Bathory, essentially a vampire. And then after that, they switched into more general horror. Like the Midian is about the movie Nightbreed,
I thought that
and
was about a town in the Bible. The Midian was a town in the Bible that had a concrete wall built around them.
no, Midian
So
is
it's
the
about the
name of
movie
the.
Nightbreed?
Yeah, watch the movie Nightbreed. The characters of Nightbreed are the characters in Midian, and that's why
Okay.
Doug Bradley, who is in the movie Midian, is doing the voiceover for the album as well.
Okay, cool. Now, Damnation in a Day, that's the Holy Bible, right? From beginning to end. The first song basically starts with Genesis, and then they work their way all the way down to like Revelations and shit. Damnation in a Day. It's right before they got signed to Roadrunner, and then they came out with Thornography, and everything went to shit, in my opinion, after that.
Their new album's awesome. Their new album's great.
What's
Just
it called?
Their last two actually. Existence is Futile is their new album, and it's really, really, really good.
Okay. What would you
but
compare it to in their past CDs? Because
Midian.
my last favorite one by them was Damnation in a Day. That one's a fucking masterpiece.
See, I fell off right before that. I fell off before Damnation. Midian was my last one that I really liked. Then Damnation, and then a couple others I didn't really like. Their last two I really like.
Okay.
I think they've kind of brought it back to, instead of experimenting and seeing where they can go with their sound and trying new things, they're like, you know what, we just need to be Cradle of Filth. And I feel like on the last two albums, they got back to being Cradle of Filth. And they're about to tour the US, which is awesome.
Yeah, I seen that. JR, you did a signing with Danny Filth.
He did Beach Out. Yeah, he did Beach
Jeremy, did you hook that up, or how'd that work out?
Danny and I have the same management. Danny actually wrote the foreword for my book. I don't know if you've seen that, but
yeah, the Daughters of Darkness, right? I thought Randy did.
Oh, wait, Randy wrote the foreword, or hold on. Randy wrote the intro. Danny wrote the foreword.
Okay, cool.
One of the two. Yeah. One wrote the foreword. One wrote the intro.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that was a huge obstacle to do that too, because that was back when he was home, he wasn't traveling, so it was a real pain in the ass just to send the box over there with the items. But he had a crazy amount of autographs to do. I mean, it was insane. So it was a lot of work, and it was very expensive to get that box back to. I'll never forget that.
So it was a nightmare.
Like super far away from a FedEx, like an hour and a half, and it was like. Sometimes the customers don't get to see like some of the logistical nightmares we have to deal with some of the shit.
So, JR, if there's anybody you can land in a box, metal goes, who would it be?
That's tough.
I know.
Probably anybody from Mudvayne. I think that would be like
Chad Gray would be fucking crazy.
Yeah, and he lives in Vegas and he goes to like horror.
He's from I'm from Rockford, Illinois. He's from Peoria, Illinois, about an hour away. And when his band was coming up, I was too young to go to shows.
Yeah.
But everybody would fucking come into summer school like fucking Mudvayne, and I'm like, fuck, I'm too young. I can't go, god damn it. And then next thing you know, Dig was on at fucking Headbangers Ball on MTV2 at like 3 a.m. And then they were fucking doing second stage at Ozfest and shit. And it was like, it was so cool to watch them grow. Like, and now he's fucking. Then he was playing with Vinnie Paul, and it's like Jesus Christ. But it's crazy that they came back together. Did you ever anticipate Mudvayne getting back together, Jeremy?
Yeah, I knew it was in the works. I actually
Did
have a
ya?
really funny Chad Gray story for you sometime. But
Okay.
yeah, I did know that was in the works for a while, and they finally were able to make it happen. Unfortunately, Vinny passing meant that they kind of had the push to do it, because they didn't have
Right.
Hell Yeah happening.
Right. No, that makes sense because that was I mean, obviously, besides the morning losing Vinnie Paul, my second thought was, I bet Mudvayne's going to come back now.
Yeah.
And I was happy to hear that. I got tickets to Tinley Park, Illinois for August 5th for fucking Rob Zombie, fucking Static X. Now, I'm going to go out here and say it. Edsel Dope is a singer of Static X, right? Jeremy, you probably can't confirm. You're probably not allowed to say that.
I can show you a photo of the lead singer of Static X and Edsel Dope next to each other that I took.
What do you mean?
I mean exactly that. I did a group photo of...
Well, Wayne Static is dead.
Right.
But the singer of Static X now is Edsel Dope, right?
I'm saying I did a new photo shoot. I did the new photos for Static X and their new album.
Okay.
I also did a photo shoot with Raven from Raven Black, Wednesday 13, Dez from Devil Driver, Zero from Static X, their new singer, and Edsel all together in a row.
But it's just a mask. So someone stood in for Edsel, right? I know you can't. You probably can't say this out loud, so I don't.
I can honestly tell you that no one stood in for Edsel.
No, I know that. Okay, for the photo. Okay, but the guy singing. Okay, never mind. I think I get what you're saying.
Hey, so
I'm just saying that photo exists. It happened.
No, I get it. And if in my opinion, I think Edsel. Let's just say, whether he is or not, in my opinion, Edsel would be the perfect person to fit in for Wayne, because they've been touring for fucking ever together, and they were really good friends. And Edsel, when he wants to, he sounds a lot like Wayne Static, and I don't know. I think it's Edsel Dope.
Yeah, I think the person filling in for the person doing Zero does a great job.
100%. Yeah.
I can't wait for that tour. I will be going to that tour here at the Woodlands as well. I'm very eager to see how Power Man sounds, and then obviously Mudvayne. So it's gonna be cool.
I wonder what Mudvayne's gonna sound like, man. I'm a little worried about it. I hope they sound fucking amazing, because I've never seen them before, so my expectations are so high. So I got to bring them down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. My expectations are really high too, especially because I'm taking Jen with me, and she's never heard of Mudvayne at all, and I keep hyping the shit out of them. I think Ryan's one of the best bass players we've ever seen, and he's once in a generation talent. And I just want to see him perform live, to be honest with you. I will most likely leave right when Rob Zombie starts, or as soon as Mudvayne ends, I'm leaving. That's just me being brutally honest. I've seen him too many times. So the show's always good. It's great, but I don't care to see him again. So I'm going for Mudvayne, period. That's literally what I'm going for. So
if you want a fun game, just take a shot every time Rob Zombie says, yeah, you'll be dead by the end of the first song. But it's fun.
Dude, I've always
20 shots in the first 3 minutes, and I'll be like, all right, you heard one song, you've heard everything. I can go on a rant about that, but whatever.
I've always said that Rob Zombie was the first mumble rapper of all time. Like, I love him, but it's like he was the first mumble rapper ever.
Yeah.
Benny, no, Dope is not done. They are touring often. Dope is still happening quite often.
I love Dope a lot. They're from Chicago. They're from my area, and there's not that many songs I don't like by them, man. They're very cool. I've played with them like 4 times. I'm sure you are familiar with like the local stuff where the locals sell tickets to open for like touring bands and shit. And I've done that a bunch of times with Dope. And Edsel was always really cool, but he'd pull up in like this crazy fucking fancy car. And I'm like, we're in Rockford, right? Like, why the fuck did you drive? Because he, at the time he was living in Chicago. I'm like, you should have never drove that car here, motherfucker. But the venue, or the bar, I should say, was kind enough to let him park it right out front. Because I was like, yeah, that was their first mistake. Don't bring a car like that to Rockford. It'll be sitting on bricks by the time you are done doing fucking sound check, dude.
Well, hey, Hey, we're in at like 3 hours and 20.
I was going to say that 45 minutes ago, so let's get the fuck out of
Let's
here.
save this for another one. I feel like there's so much good shit that we could probably hit with Jeremy. JR, I want to say thank you, dude, for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. It's always a good conversation when you come on this and in the DMs, even though you're sending me feet pic, which is kind of weird, but whatever.
You're partying them, so I don't know, man.
I do.
No, hey, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Jeremy. I love listening to you talk about music. I can literally be listening to the next podcast, and I'll be listening to Ghost the next 20 minutes when I show.
Oh, me too. Absolutely.
Yep. I want to check out Ghost.
Dig 'em.
And as soon as I'm before I check out Ghost, Jeremy, I'm going to send you a Facebook message, and we'll work out a date for you to hop on the podcast, brother. Is that cool?
Sounds good. And JR, I'll hit you up next week about metal stuff.
Fuck yeah, dude. Let's do it.
All right, man.
Cool. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hopping on the podcast. I'm sorry this went too long, but God damn it, it was fun for me. I hope it was fun for you. Let's get the fuck out of here. Later, guys.
See
you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to our little Passion Project podcast. Remember, we go live every single Friday night, same damn time, same damn channel. So if you miss it, don't blame us.